Just after winning over my white moonlight, my childhood sweetheart panicked. Lin Yi had liked his childhood friend Chen Wan for over a decade. Yet, every time he confessed his feelings, Chen Wan turned him down. She always said, "Lin Yi, can you give me a little more time? I'm not sure if I like you." On her birthday party, Lin Yi mustered his courage to confess again. This time, she said, "Lin Yi, I'm really tired of you sticking to me all the time. I'm not your princess, and you're not my knight. Fairy tales are all lies. Lin Yi, aren't you being childish? What era are we in? Even kids don't believe in fairy tales anymore, yet you keep foolishly believing in them. You've been like this since we were young, but can't you give me some personal space? Maybe I'd have been better off without you. If you really want to be a knight, can you just silently guard me from afar?" Lin Yi was devastated. When he finally gave up on her, his white moonlight entered his life. As Lin Yi and his white moonlight grew closer, Chen Wan panicked. She sought him out and said, "Lin Yi, I accept your confession now. I'm allowing you to come back to me." Lin Yi smiled, turned around, pulled his white moonlight into his arms, and kissed her. Lin Yi had liked his childhood friend Chen Wan for over a decade. Yet, every time he confessed his feelings, Chen Wan turned him down. She always said, "Lin Yi, can you give me a little more time? I'm not sure if I like you." On her birthday party, Lin Yi mustered his courage to confess again. This time, she said, "Lin Yi, I'm really tired of you sticking to me all the time. I'm not your princess, and you're not my knight. Fairy tales are all lies. Lin Yi, aren't you being childish? What era are we in? Even kids don't believe in fairy tales anymore, yet you keep foolishly believing in them. You've been like this since we were young, but can't you give me some personal space? Maybe I'd have been better off without you. If you really want to be a knight, can you just silently guard me from afar?" Lin Yi was devastated. When he finally gave up on her, his white moonlight entered his life. As Lin Yi and his white moonlight grew closer, Chen Wan panicked. She sought him out and said, "Lin Yi, I accept your confession now. I'm allowing you to come back to me." Lin Yi smiled, turned around, pulled his white moonlight into his arms, and kissed her. Chapter 1. Lin Yi sat on the couch, his face devoid of emotion, staring at the center of the stage. A woman wearing a crown and an elegant evening gown stood there, exuding the aura of a regal queen and a proud swan. She was embraced by a man equally adorned in luxury, his every gesture radiating elegance. In that moment, the spotlight and everyone's attention were on them. Though Lin Yi's face remained expressionless, his heart felt as if it were being torn apart. Watching the woman he loved dancing in another man's arms was excruciating, a pain so suffocating it felt like drowning. Struggling between the surface and the depths, he could barely breathe. Eventually, drained of strength, he imagined himself sinking into the cold, dark abyss, the glimmer of light above becoming more distant and unreachable. Chen Wan. Born into a prestigious family, her mother was the dean of the music department at Capital University, and her father a high-ranking executive at a renowned corporation in the imperial city, earning millions annually. Chen Wan herself was a third-year student in the music department at Capital University. Besides her major in music, she also pursued a minor in piano. Although students were typically limited to one major and one minor, Chen Wan audited additional courses, mastering orchestral studies and traditional Chinese instruments like the guqin, zheng, and pieper. Lin Yi, on the other hand, came from humble beginnings. His parents were ordinary farmers whose livelihood grew increasingly meager year by year. Eventually, they left their fields and, through a friend's introduction, found work herding cattle on the vast grasslands of Inner Mongolia. While their work was exhausting, it was just enough to support Lin Yi's education and provide for the family's basic needs. The story of how Lin Yi, a farmer's son, crossed paths with Chen Wan, a daughter of privilege, began with Lin Yi's father, Lin Cheng. Lin Cheng had two younger brothers, both of whom had unconventional attitudes toward education. Lin Yi's second uncle had a knack for skipping class to play with marbles, much to the frustration of his parents, who eventually pulled him out of school to tend to the family's cattle. Lin Yi's third uncle was no better. Although he didn't play marbles, he spent his days catching fish and birds instead of attending school. His antics earned him a similar fate, dropping out to help at home. Ultimately, Lin Cheng became the family's sole hope for academic success. He excelled in school and became the first in his family to attend middle school, even making it to the third year. However, his academic journey was cut short when he fell in love with Lin Yi's mother. Despite his parents' strong objections and even physical punishment, Lin Cheng was determined to marry her. After a dramatic series of events, including a failed elopement, the family reluctantly allowed them to marry. Lin Cheng's best friend, Chen Yuan, was a bright student like him. While Lin Cheng dropped out to marry, Chen Yuan graduated middle school and went on to high school. Eventually, Chen Yuan decided not to pursue university due to concerns about job prospects and instead ventured into business. He later married and started a family. It was at Chen Yuan's wedding that Lin Yi, then a newborn, was introduced to Chen Wan, who was still in her mother's womb. The two families decided to betroth their children if Chen Wan turned out to be a girl, which she did. As the years passed, Chen Yuan's career flourished, and his family's standing rose significantly. For the sake of better education opportunities, Chen Yuan persuaded Lin Cheng to move to the capital, where Lin Yi and Chen Wan grew up together. They attended the same schools from kindergarten to university, their lives intertwined from the very beginning. Throughout their childhood, Lin Yi was fiercely protective of Chen Wan, like a loyal knight guarding his princess. His feelings for her were obvious to everyone, including Chen Wan herself. Lin Yi confessed his love repeatedly, especially on Chen Wan's birthdays. But each time, her answer was the same. "Lin Yi, can you give me a little more time? I'm not sure if I like you. Old Lin, why are you drinking alone in this corner? Even your dad couldn't he find you?" A familiar voice jolted Lin Yi from his memories. Rong Hong, his childhood friend and a wealthy second-generation heir, sat down beside him. A music major specializing in saxophone and a fan of R&B and traditional cultural films, Rong Hong had been Lin Yi's best friend since elementary school. "Get lost. I'm your dad," Lin Yi retorted with a glare, downing the remaining alcohol in his glass in one gulp. The burning sensation in his throat made him choke and cough violently, tears and snot streaming down his face. "Lin Yi, are you crazy? Half a glass of white liquor in one go. Are you trying to kill yourself?" Rong Hong hurriedly grabbed tissues to help him clean up while patting his back. All right. Stop patting me, or you'll actually kill me," Lin Yi gasped, waving him off. "What's eating you up? If you're feeling this bad, why don't you just confess again? Like you did last year, or every year on her birthday. Sooner or later, Chen Wan will be moved by you," Rong Hong said, his voice trailing off as he noticed Lin Yi's bitter smile. Confess? Lin Yi had lost count of how many times he had bared his heart to her, only to be met with rejection. Every time, she would say, "Lin Yi, can you give me a little more time? I'm not sure if I like you." Chapter 2, How could Lin Yi dare to leave her? How could he? She's his princess. Every time Chen Wan said this, Lin Yi, though disappointed, still held onto a sliver of hope. That hope gave him the courage to persist. Every time he was rejected, he would comfort himself, "Lin Yi, maybe next time, the girl you like will finally like you back." But that hope shattered just a few minutes ago, at the beginning of Chen Wan's birthday ball. Summoning all his courage, Lin Yi walked toward her. Under the watchful eyes of her and her friends, he clumsily bent down with the etiquette he had just learned and extended his hand to her. "Beautiful Miss Chen Wan, may I have the honor of a dance?" His eyes overflowed with love and hope. He imagined holding the waist of the woman he adored, the two of them dancing gracefully like swans in the spotlight. He felt that all the pain of learning ballroom dancing over the past month would be worth it. But Chen Wan frowned. She raised her chin high, like a lofty swan, looking down at Lin Yi with disdain. Clad in plain clothes and moving awkwardly, he appeared utterly out of place in her refined world. In front of everyone, she said calmly, "Lin Yi, the saddest thing in life is not recognizing your own limitations. No matter how much you imitate others, you are still you. And frankly, your clumsy movements are embarrassing to watch." She continued, "Also, do you even know how to waltz? Do you understand what it is? I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want my favorite crystal heels to be ruined. And another thing, Lin Yi, I'm so tired of you always clinging to me. I am not your princess, and you are not my knight. Fairy tales are lies, Lin Yi. Don't you think it's childish? At this age, even kids don't believe in fairy tales anymore. Why do you still foolishly believe in them? You've always been like this since we were little, but can you give me some space? Maybe I'd have a better life without you. If you truly want to be a knight, why don't you protect me from afar instead of sticking to me all the time? With that, Chen Wan turned and left. Her friends glanced at Lin Yi, their faces filled with strange smiles, before following her. Lin Yi stood there alone, bent over, frozen in place. His mind went blank. Chen Wan's words were like sharp knives, stabbing repeatedly into his heart. Each withdrawal of the blade left crimson wounds, and his face turned pale. He struggled to breathe. Upstairs, surrounded by admirers, Chen Wan held a glass of wine. The diamonds on her crown sparkled under the lights as wealthy heirs and socialites flocked to her. Yet, when she looked down at the central hall and saw Lin Yi still frozen mid-gesture, her heart twinged slightly. She knew her blunt words must have hurt him, but so what? Everything she said was the truth. Lin Yi was never in her league. Allowing him to stay by her side for so many years was already her greatest show of tolerance. There was no denying Lin Yi had always treated her well, even to the point of devotion. But the better he treated her, the more repelled she felt. Sometimes, people are like that, they don't value what comes too easily. Chen Wan, wasn't he that too harsh? Lin Yi must be heartbroken, said her friend by OU, glancing at Lin Yi, who still looked like a clown standing in the spotlight. Chen Wan withdrew her gaze and replied calmly, so what? He brought this upon himself. Yes. Even if her words hurt Lin Yi, so what? Was it his fault for not knowing his place? How many times had she already rejected him? Yet he kept coming back like an annoying fly. It was exhausting. By OU sighed and said, Chen Wan, aren't you afraid Lin Yi will be so hurt that he leaves you? Say what you will, but he genuinely likes you. Chen Wan smiled serenely. Impossible. I know him too well. Just watch, soon enough, he'll come back with some cheap roses and even cheaper lines to confess his feelings again. She was right. Having known Lin Yi since childhood, she understood him inside and out. How could Lin Yi dare to leave her? How could he? She was his princess. Meanwhile, Lin Yi finally moved. Bowing his head, he walked toward an empty corner, his steps heavy under the weight of countless judging gazes. Chen Wan's words echoed in his mind. Lin Yi, the saddest thing in life is not recognizing your own limitations. No matter how much you imitate others, you are still you. Your clumsy movements are embarrassing to watch. I'm so tired of you always clinging to me. I am not your princess, and you are not my knight. Fairy tales are lies. Can't you just protect me from afar? Lin Yi didn't know how he ended up in that deserted corner. He thought he'd be crumpled in pain, nursing his wounds like an old stray cat. He thought he'd be so heartbroken that breathing would become unbearable. But strangely, his heart was calm. No tears, no breakdown. Only a quiet acceptance of failure remained. Since he came to the capital at the age of 5 and became Chen Wan's classmate, Lin Yi had been taught by his parents that he was the big brother, the man, and Chen Wan was the little sister, the princess. He was supposed to be her loyal knight, just like in fairy tales. And so, he lived by those words. From childhood to adulthood, whenever Chen Wan was bullied or upset, he would always step in. He gave his all to make her happy. His entire world revolved around her as if he was born to live for Chen Wan. But just now, her words struck him like a bolt of lightning, shattering all his illusions. The fairy tale world he built around her collapsed. In front of everyone, she loudly declared that she wasn't his princess and he wasn't her knight. Fairy tales were lies. Yes, Lin Yi. Even a 5-year-old doesn't believe in fairy tales anymore. You're just too foolish to admit it, aren't you? And why, since childhood, had everyone told him he should protect her like a knight? Why couldn't he be the prince instead? Maybe they were telling him all along that he and Chen Wan were never meant to be. Lin Yi, if only you had understood this sooner. If only you had known, you wouldn't have spent so many years as her lapdog. Chapter 3, I really don't like her anymore. Watching Lin Yi oscillate between distress, laughter, and regret, Rong Hong's face was filled with worry. Son, don't scare your dad like this. If you're upset, vent it out. I've got a collectible cup I haven't even used, just take it and smash it. Hearing Rong Hong's odd yet caring words, Lin Yi smiled faintly and looked at him. Actually, growing up, Lin Yi hadn't he gained nothing. At least now, he still had a brother by his side who called himself Dad, didn't he? Son, I want to go back, Lin Yi said suddenly. Roan Hong froze for a moment before nodding resolutely, indignantly replying, all right, let us go. Honestly, I wouldn't have come to this ridiculous birthday party if it weren't for you. Oh, what a waste of time. Let us head home, son. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. Home. As Lin Yi stood up, he staggered slightly, unsteady from the half-glass of white wine he had downed. He let out a bitter laugh, suddenly remembering that Chen Wan had always hated boys who drank or smoked. Because of her, he hadn't touched a drop of alcohol or a single cigarette. Yet, just half a glass of wine had left him swaying and dizzy. He knew he was drunk. But his mind was unexpectedly clear, nothing like the usual drunken haze where one forgets everything. Am I not even allowed the luxury of drowning my sorrows? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Roan Hong saw his stumble and immediately steadied him, draping Lin Yi's arm over his shoulder and supporting his waist as they staggered toward the door. Bai Ou, who had been quietly observing, noticed Lin Yi leaving and instinctively turned to Chen Wan. She wanted to remind her friend, Lin Yi is leaving. It was the first time Lin Yi had ever left Chen Wan's birthday party early. Bai Ou knew what this meant. Her heart felt conflicted, but in the end, she sighed and glanced again at Chen Wan, who was surrounded by admirers. Chen Wan's space seemed wide, but it no longer had room for Lin Yi. Perhaps Chen Wan should have let Lin Yi go long ago. Roan Hong helped Lin Yi out the door, hailed a cab, and directed it back to their university. Lin Yi struggled to keep his eyes open, gazing at the fleeting streetlights and scenery outside. Each scene felt like a snapshot of his memories with Chen Wan. When the cab finally stopped at the university gate, he thought to himself, the car has stopped, and so has my story with her. Roan Hong helped Lin Yi back to their dorm room. He removed Lin Yi's shoes, pants, and jacket, fetched some water to wash his feet, and even wiped his face. After tucking Lin Yi into bed, Roan Hong turned to leave. But he paused after just one step, turned back, looked at Lin Yi, and sighed deeply. Finally, he stripped off his own jacket and lay down beside Lin Yi. Son? Lin Yi murmured, his breath heavy with the scent of alcohol as it wafted into Roan Hong's nose. Roan Hong grimaced in disgust, covering Lin Yi's mouth with his hand. Yet his voice was gentle as he comforted him, go to sleep, son. Sleep it off, and you'll wake up good as new. Dad, I'm not drunk, Lin Yi slurred, his speech thick. Yes, you're not drunk, Roan Hong replied patiently, unusually not arguing back. Dad, Lin Yi murmured again. I don't like her anymore. Roan Hong froze. He didn't respond, and Lin Yi didn't say more. The room fell silent, broken only by Lin Yi's heavy breathing. I don't like her anymore. It was the first time Roan Hong had heard Lin Yi say such words. He never thought the day would come when Lin Yi would admit it. His emotions were a mix of heartache and relief. The heartache came from witnessing Lin Yi's unwavering affection, years of quietly protecting Chen Wan like a knight in a fairytale, only to be met with her cold dismissal. Lin Yi, I'm so tired of you always clinging to me. I'm not your princess, and you're not my knight. Fairytales are lies. Lin Yi, don't you think you're being childish? From childhood innocence to teenage infatuation to passionate young love, he had given it all to this one girl. The relief came from knowing that Lin Yi was finally letting himself go. Everyone could see it. Lin Yi liked Chen Wan. But it was equally clear that Chen Wan didn't like Lin Yi. Yes. Chen Wan didn't like Lin Yi. Everyone knew it. Even Chen Wan knew it. The only one who couldn't see it was Lin Yi. Lin Yi lay drunk in bed, aware of his own state. If he hadn't been drinking, he would never have said those words aloud. But even in his intoxicated state, his heart was unnervingly clear. How could I endure all those rejections and harsh words before, but not this time? Perhaps it was the alcohol. Or perhaps it was because he, too, didn't believe in fairytales anymore. The princess he had been protecting had just shredded the fairytale he had spent over a decade weaving. She wasn't his princess. And he wasn't her knight. Son, I really don't like her anymore. In the stillness of the night, Lin Yi's words broke the silence again. Roll Hong nodded quietly. Yes. You don't like her anymore. Or maybe, you should never have liked her in the first place. System notification, congratulations, host. You have successfully bound to the sign-in system. Would you like to sign in? Lin Yi stared at the futuristic holographic screen floating before his eyes. He felt like he was dreaming. Sign in. He mumbled groggily, before falling into a deep sleep. System notification, sign in successful. Reward, master level piano proficiency. Elsewhere, the party was reaching its peak. Chen Wan finished a waltz with a young heir from a distinguished family. Her forehead glistened with sweat. Waving a hand to fan herself, she scanned the room, feeling a faint irritation. Normally, Lin Yi would have already brought her a damp towel to wipe her sweat. Was he really so sensitive that he got upset over her words? Her lips curled into a faint smile. Lin Yi must have been sulking in some corner, planning yet another cheesy, over-the-top confession, right? Another half-hour passed, and Chen Wan grew impatient. She turned to Bai Ou, her tone lofty and commanding, like a swan. Bai Ou, go tell Lin Yi that I'll give him 5 minutes. If he doesn't prepare himself, don't blame me for not giving him a chance. Bai Ou stared at her with a complicated expression. Chen Wan, don't you know? Lin Yi left over an hour ago. Chen Wan froze, her body trembling as disbelief filled her eyes. Impossible. There's nothing impossible about it, Chen Wan. Lin Yi isn't your knight. And truthfully, you aren't his princess. No one will revolve around you forever. And your words tonight were truly too harsh. With that, Bai Ou turned and left the party the first time she had ever walked away from her best friend. Chen Wan stood there, stunned, watching her closest friend leave. Was I really too harsh? But I only wanted Lin Yi to see reality. Biting her lip, Chen Wan's eyes filled with tears. Chapter 4, No matter how hard life is, don't make it harder on yourself. No matter how sweet life is, don't spoil the kids. Lin Yi left. The person who should have stayed the most, the one who seemed least likely to leave, was gone. Bai Ou left too, her closest friend since entering college. Feeling utterly wronged, Chen Wan brushed past the wealthy heirs and privileged scions trying to curry favor with her and walked alone to the floor-to-ceiling windows on the second floor. She hesitated for a moment, bit her lip, and took out her phone, scrolling through her contacts. But soon she froze. She had combed through her entire contact list and couldn't find the name Lin Yi. Stunned, her heart wrenched. For the first time, she felt a twinge of guilt. After all these years, she hadn't even bothered to give him a proper contact name. She resorted to checking her call log, randomly opening several conspicuously red missed calls, and finally saw a string of familiar numbers. After a moment of hesitation, she pressed the call button. Beep, beep. The phone vibrated with its familiar ringtone. Lin Yi, if you answered this within 3 seconds, I'll forgive you for leaving without saying goodbye today. Chen Wan bit her lip. But as time ticked by, and after the phone rang for what felt like an eternity, the line cut off, and a familiar automated message played. Sorry, the phone you dialed is not answered for the moment. Please try again later. Sorry. The phone you dialed. Beep beep beep. When the call disconnected with 2 abrupt tones, Chen Wan froze, disbelief written all over her face. Lin Yi had answered. It was inconceivable. Since they both got phones, Lin Yi had promised her his phone would always be on, 24/7, just for her. If she ever needed him, one call, and he'd be there in no time. She remembered once, during a truth or dare game with her dormmates late at night, her challenge was to call a guy and have him show up under her dorm window within 30 minutes. She'd called a few guys, but it was late, and most didn't answer. Those who did easily guessed it was a dare. Finally, she called Lin Yi. Less than 10 minutes later, he arrived, wearing a pair of shorts, a tank top, and slippers. He looked utterly disheveled, but he came. The whole dorm had laughed at Lin Yi, herself included. That night, Lin Yi had been furious, but by the next day, he was already back to following her around like a lovesick puppy. He must be drunk. Yes, Lin Yi must be drunk. Otherwise, he wouldn't not answer my call. Chen Wan bit her lip. The delicate expression on her face, combined with her stunning features, made her breathtakingly beautiful in that fleeting moment. The rest of the banquet passed without any enthusiasm on her part, ending awkwardly and prematurely. As she sat in the back of the Rolls-Royce on her way home, watching the scenery outside flash by, she couldn't shake the feeling that those fleeting views resembled snapshots of her time with Lin Yi. When the car finally came to a stop, it felt as though their story had reached its conclusion. After stepping out of the car, Chen Wan couldn't recall how she made it to her bedroom. She burrowed under her blanket, staring blankly at the ceiling. Buzz buzz. Her phone vibrated suddenly. Was it Lin Yi? Frantically, she threw off the blanket, fumbling to grab her phone. But when she glanced at the screen, disappointment welled up inside her. It wasn't Lin Yi. It was her father, Chen Wan, calling on a video chat. She hesitated but pressed the accept button. Her father appeared on the screen, dressed impeccably in a suit. His face showed traces of exhaustion. Happy birthday, my darling girl. I'm sorry I couldn't attend your party because of this business trip, but I've prepared a gift for you. It'll arrive tomorrow. It's an artwork from the renowned Grisogano collection. I know you'll love it. Her father's warm smile softened his weary features. Even though your mom and I couldn't be there, we feel reassured knowing Xiao Yi is there to take care of you. For most of the call, Chen Yuan did all the talking. When he mentioned Lin Yi, Chen Wan forced a smile, concealing her inner turmoil. After hanging up, a self-deprecating smile crept onto Chen Wan's face. Dad, the Lin Yi you trust so much. He was the first one to leave my party tonight. Unknowingly, Chen Wan drifted off to sleep. Meanwhile, in another car, a middle-aged man in a suit put down his phone. His gentlemanly demeanor betrayed a hint of fatigue. Did that brat Lin Yi upset Xiao Wan again? Came a deep, magnetic voice from beside him. Another man, similarly dressed, lounged next to him, exuding a more rakish charm. Chen Yuan glanced at Lin Cheng, his lips curling into a wry smile. Probably not. She's likely upset because I missed her birthday. Just throwing a little tantrum. Good. If that rascal Lin Yi made her angry, I'd skin him alive. Lin Cheng said with a mischievous smirk. All right, let us head back. You've had a long day negotiating today. You finally admit it, huh? As chairman, you spend your days gallivanting around with my sister-in-law while I'm stuck fighting solo on the front lines. Come on, we're brothers. Your battle is my battle, isn't it? Besides, once we're back, I'll treat you to tea. You've been eyeing my Wui Mountain Da Hongpao for ages, haven't you? Yeah, right. Keep dreaming. Lin Cheng shot back, laughing as the two bickered like schoolboys. After a while, the car grew quiet again. Chen Yuan turned to Lin Cheng, a thoughtful expression on his face. Xiao Yi's already in his third year. When are you planning to tell him the truth? I'm warning you, if he finds out you've been hiding things from him, he might hold a grudge. The kid has been living more frugally than most ordinary people, all while his family owns a multi-billion-dollar company. Lin Cheng gazed out the window, his face unreadable. Maybe when he's in his final year. I'll let him and Xiao Wan intern at one of our branches. If he shows promise, I'll hand the company over to him. If not, Xiao Wan will take over. And if neither of them is cut out for it, then, when we retire, we'll sell off the shares and spend the rest of our lives as carefree retirees. Chen Yuan sat up straight, his face incredulous. You'd really just hand over everything we've worked so hard for to someone else? Lin Cheng didn't respond immediately. After a moment, he smiled faintly. Let us not worry about that now. We should plan our trip to Europe once this negotiation wraps up. Life is too short to overburden ourselves. No matter how hard life is, don't make it harder on yourself. No matter how sweet life is, don't spoil the kids. Chapter 5, she seemed to lose herself in Lin Yi's eyes. The next day, Chen Wan got into the car with a haggard face. The Rolls-Royce drove to the school gate, attracting countless people to stop and watch and envy. Chen Wan got out of the car, and when she was at the door, Bai Ou came up with a school bag on her back. Looking at Chen Wan's haggard face, Bai Ou's eyes also flashed with a touch of heartache. Chen Wan, I'm sorry, I was a little impulsive yesterday. It's okay, maybe I really went too far yesterday. A smile appeared on Chen Wan's haggard face, and she shook her head. When she wanted to call Lin Yi last night, she found that she didn't even leave a note for Lin Yi, and she realized that she might really have gone too far. Hearing Chen Wan's words, Bai Oyu was stunned for a moment. This was the first time she heard Chen Wan say that she was wrong since she met her. Could it be that Chen Wan really realized that she was wrong? Lin Yi finally saw the moon after waiting for the clouds to clear. So, are you going to apologize to Lin Yi? Apologize? Hearing Bai Oyu's words, Chen Wan was stunned. If you are wrong, do you have to apologize? She never thought that she needed to apologize to Lin Yi. After all, she had never apologized to Lin Yi since she was a child. She had done many more things to him than this incident before, but as long as she appeared in front of Lin Yi would forgive her unconditionally. She thought that this time should be the same, right? As long as she appeared in front of Lin Yi would definitely come to her happily, right? As for whether Lin Yi would still feel uncomfortable, she thought that Lin Yi had recovered a long time ago. Lin Yi was very strong, and she felt that she still understood Lin Yi very well. Hearing Chen Wan's words, Bai Oyu was stunned. Even though she already knew that Chen Wan had been spoiled by her parents and Lin Yi since she was a child and had a high-handed temper, at this moment, she was also silenced by Chen Wan's words. In fact, as Chen Wan's best friend, she knows Chen Wan very well. Chen Wan is not the kind of arrogant lady who treats everyone with such a temper. Sometimes she will say sorry when she does something wrong. She is just not used to saying sorry to Lin Yi. Bai Oyu was silent. Chen Wan was silent too. The two walked into the first class of music major side by side. After entering the class, Bai Oyu and Chen Wan subconsciously scanned the classroom at the same time, and finally saw Lin Yi and Rong Hong in the fourth row by the window. Chen Wan subconsciously pulled Bai Oyu over, but there were people sitting in front and behind Lin Yi and Rong Hong. Chen Wan bit her lip. Lin Yi, where is the seat you saved for us? Hearing Chen Wan's words as a matter of course, Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and then smiled. Chen Wan, you keep saying that you are not my princess, but you show your princess's arrogance to the fullest in front of me. But, how can you be so sure that I am still your knight? Sorry, I got up late today. Even my seat was reserved for me by Yongwing. You, go find a seat by yourselves. Also, I don't have any mission obligation to help you reserve a seat, so please don't question me in this self-righteous tone next time. Chen Wan, thank you. Lin Yi's face was calm. Chen Wan was struck by lightning when she heard Lin Yi's words, and her eyes were filled with tears. I'm sorry, Lin Yi. Bai Oyu apologized to Lin Yi, and then pulled Chen Wan, who was about to cry, to the back and found two empty seats in the last few rows to sit down. As soon as Chen Wan sat down, the pearls in her eyes rolled down. Chen Wan bit her lips and looked at Lin Yi's back stubbornly. Okay, Chen Wan, don't cry. What's there to cry about? Maybe Lin Yi really got up late. Bai Oyu also felt a headache when he saw Chen Wan crying. But, in the past, no matter it was windy or rainy, he would always save a seat for me. He never got up late. Besides, he never spoke to me in that tone before. He knew I was not questioning him, he knew it. Chen Wan whispered, feeling endless grievances in her heart. In addition to grievances, there was also a trace of panic. She felt that Lin Yi seemed different. Obviously, Lin Yi was still Lin Yi, but she just felt that she was different. What was different? Perhaps it was no longer just her in his eyes. She used to like Lin Yi's eyes very much, because every time she looked into Lin Yi's eyes, she could see that there was only her in Lin Yi's deep and beautiful eyes, but just now, when she looked into Lin Yi's eyes, she seemed to not find herself in Lin Yi's eyes. During the whole class, Chen Wan was absent-minded and didn't listen to the class well. Her eyes fell on Lin Yi's back from time to time. She didn't know what she was thinking, but she was longing for Lin Yi to turn his head and look at her like before, with extreme tenderness in his eyes. It was a pity that Lin Yi never turned his head from beginning to end. Lin Yi could feel the burning gaze behind him. At a certain moment, he almost couldn't control himself and turned his head. He knew that as long as he turned his head, he only needed a glance to reconcile with Chen Wan. Even taking this opportunity, as long as he spoke, Chen Wan would probably accept his confession. However, when he suddenly didn't want what he had longed for countless times, he could get it as long as he wanted. Sometimes, he couldn't help asking himself, did he really like Chen Wan? Yes. He really liked Chen Wan. From kindergarten to college for more than 10 or 20 years, he had been with this girl for 1/3 of his life, and poured his love into this girl without reservation. He really liked her. But, is it love? Lin Yi shook his head. He clearly understood that he liked Chen Wan, and he liked her to the point of obsession. But he didn't know if he loved her, because he didn't know what love was like. Maybe it was love, or maybe it wasn't. He used to like Chen Wan like crazy, and was rejected again and again. He was preparing for the next confession again and again. He even had a kind of paranoia about Chen Wan, but now thinking about it carefully, maybe this was just his unwillingness to accompany Chen Wan for more than 10 or 20 years. Or maybe the people around him were instilling in him the idea that he was her knight and she was his princess, and he naturally brought in the idea that the knight was to protect the princess, but he had the wrong idea, the idea of a prince. Lin Yi never looked back. Chen Wan kept staring at Lin Yi until the cry from her stomach interrupted her. Bai Ou heard this voice and looked at Chen Wan. Chen Wan, you didn't miss your meal, did you? Chen Wan felt even more wronged when she heard Bai Ou's words. She pouted and her tears were about to fall. Lin Yi didn't buy it for me. Every time I arrived at school, he bought it and put it on my desk. Chapter 6, Why do you think I should selflessly give to Chen Wan? Bai Ou looked at Chen Wan, who was crying again while talking, and felt a little speechless. Chen Wan had occasionally said that she liked to eat breakfast at a breakfast shop outside the school, so Lin Yi would get up very early every day and ride his bicycle from school to the breakfast shop a few kilometers away to buy breakfast for Chen Wan. Every time he bought it, Lin Yi would put the breakfast in his clothes and keep it warm with his body temperature. He would not put the breakfast on Chen Wan's desk until Chen Wan was about to arrive. But Chen Wan used to frown slightly every time she saw the breakfast on the desk, her face full of impatience. She always said, Lin Yi, didn't I tell you not to bring me breakfast? You are really annoying. At that time, Lin Yi would always smile and gently coax Chen Wan to finish her breakfast. Lin Yi was so focused on Chen Wan that he forgot about himself. He started to feel hungry and had stomachaches in the second class. Now, there are several finished breakfast bags on Lin Yi's desk, which are obviously breakfasts from the cafeteria. And Chen Wan became the one who was hungry. The more Chen Wan thought about it, the more wrong she felt. Her eyes fell on Lin Yi. She hoped that Lin Yi would turn around and see her in pain the next moment. As long as he saw that she was in so much pain, Lin Yi would definitely not ignore it, right? But Lin Yi didn't turn around or even look at her in a class. At this time, Lin Yi widened his eyes and looked at the illusory panel in front of him. Host, Lin Yi. Age, 21. Identity, student. Skills, 1, piano, master promotion, 0-20. Proficiency levels from low to high, beginner, entry, minor, major, master, grandmaster. Skill promotion points, 0. Number of remaining sign INS, 1. System. Lin Yi's eyes widened. In this era of online novels, he was naturally familiar with this kind of thing, but didn't this kind of thing always exist in fictional novels? Ding, the system is here. Just at this moment, a technological voice sounded in Lin Yi's mind. Lin Yi subconsciously turned his head to look at Yung Wing and others around him, but no one responded. Obviously, this voice was only audible to him. Seeing Lin Yi's reaction, Chen Wan bit her lip and felt aggrieved. She thought Lin Yi was finally going to turn around and look at her. The tears that had been accumulated in her eyes for a long time burst out instantly. If Lin Yi saw her crying and pitiful self, he would definitely feel heartbroken, right? He would definitely feel guilty, right? But Lin Yi made her so uncomfortable. Wasn't it normal for him to feel heartbroken? Chen Wan stopped suppressing herself instantly, and the tears in her eyes gushed out like crazy, as if she would feel very comfortable as long as she saw the uncomfortable and guilty expression on Lin Yi's face. But soon she was dumbfounded. Lin Yi just glanced at Rong Hong and others beside him and turned to look at the big screen in front. Chen Wan. Chen Wan was stunned and even forgot to continue crying, but when she reacted, she felt even more aggrieved. Lin Yi, you bastard. She bit her lip and felt very uncomfortable. At this time, Lin Yi was looking at the attribute panel in front of him excitedly. Looking at the remaining sign and opportunity, he immediately summoned the system in his mind. System. Ding, the system is here. Sign in. Ding, does their host confirm the sign-in? Yes. Lin Yi nodded without hesitation. Ding, sign-in successful. Congratulations to their host for obtaining the skill, singer, proficiency, great success note. Great success has reached the level of first-class singers in Daxia country in this world. Ding, congratulations to their host, obtain skill promotion point 1. When the system's voice fell, Lin Yi only felt that his throat suddenly itched, and countless singing skills appeared in his mind out of thin air. In addition to these memories, Lin Yi also found many memories about piano skills, and even his hands became whiter and slender. Lin Yi felt the extra memories in his mind, the feeling from his throat and the changes in his hands, and finally confirmed that all this was true. Woo! Lin Yi shouted in his heart, and at the same time, the heavy sadness was washed away a lot. Dingling! Just at this moment, the bell for the end of get out of class rang, and the teacher turned off the screen, packed up his things and left without asking the students if they had any questions. All the students stood up and prepared to go to the next classroom for the second class. Oh no, Chen Wan fainted. Just at this moment, a cry of surprise sounded, and in an instant, countless eyes were cast towards the back of the classroom, only to see Bai Ou squatting on the ground, and lying in her arms was Chen Wan with a pale face. A group of boys heard Bai Ou's cry and immediately rushed over. Why does Chen Wan look so ugly? She is so weak, someone asked. She hasn't eaten since yesterday. Bai Ou answered truthfully. She and Lin Yi left the birthday party yesterday in advance. Later, she heard from others that the birthday party was hastily left soon after she left. Chen Wan even left the birthday party in advance before cutting the birthday cake. As Chen Wan's best friend, Bai Ou knew Chen Wan's character very well. Without Lin Yi reminding her, how could Chen Wan eat? What's more, Chen Wan must have been very sad at that time. She would definitely not eat even if she was hungry. She must have been thinking viciously at that time that the more painful her stomach was, the better, even if it was serious enough to go to the hospital, so that Lin Yi would definitely feel guilty and sad after knowing it. But, silly girl, no matter whether others are sad or not, you are the first to feel pain. Bai Ou's face was full of helplessness. Hearing Bai Ou's words, everyone was stunned for a moment, and someone subconsciously asked, why didn't Lin Yi bring breakfast to Chen Wan today? Hearing this person's words, the others also turned to look at Lin Yi at the same time. Their eyes were full of doubts and confusion, and even blame. Yes. Since knowing Lin Yi and Chen Wan, hasn't Lin Yi bought breakfast for Chen Wan every day? Why did Lin Yi forget today? How could Lin Yi forget? Looking at everyone as if he should bring breakfast to Chen Wan, Lin Yi smiled. So everyone, including Chen Wan, didn't want Chen Wan to be his princess, Lin Yi, because they felt that Lin Yi was not worthy of Chen Wan. But they subconsciously regarded Lin Yi as Chen Wan's knight, who could protect Chen Wan from wind and rain, as if everything he did was right, and everything he paid for Chen Wan was right. But it's not like that. He just met the wrong person at the wrong time, and then licked her for more than 10 years by mistake. He looked at everyone with a pale smile on his face. Why do you think I should buy breakfast for Chen Wan? Why do you think it's my fault that Chen Wan fainted because she didn't eat breakfast? Why do you think I should give selflessly to Chen Wan? Chapter 7, It's not that I still like her, but I'm just unwilling to give up. After Lin Yi's words fell, everyone was stunned, and then they reacted. Yes, why do they think that Lin Yi should give Chen Wan selfless dedication? Why should it be Lin Yi's responsibility that Chen Wan fainted from hunger without eating breakfast from yesterday to today? Lin Yi doesn't owe Chen Wan anything. In fact, if there is really an owe, it should be Chen Wan who owes Lin Yi, right? Everyone looked at Lin Yi, feeling very uncomfortable. Many of them, as Chen Wan's classmates, attended Chen Wan's birthday party yesterday. They all saw the scene yesterday. In the face of Lin Yi's courageous invitation, Chen Wan raised her head high like a white swan, looking down at Lin Yi from a high position. She said in an extremely impatient tone, Lin Yi, you are annoying. Lin Yi, I'm really annoyed that you keep sticking to me. I'm not your princess, and you're not my knight. Lin Yi, if without you, maybe I will live better. He used up all his courage to walk in front of Chen Wan, but Chen Wan gave Lin Yi a ruthless rejection and almost cruel words. She could have used a tactful tone, and she could have been more patient. But facing Lin Yi, the boy who had liked her for more than 10 years, she was only impatient, and then she turned around and threw herself into the arms of another man, dancing under the stars, in front of Lin Yi. It was Chen Wan herself who said that Lin Yi was annoying. It was Chen Wan herself who said that she hated Lin Yi sticking to her, and it was Chen Wan herself who said that she would live better without Lin Yi. But why did Lin Yi listen to Chen Wan's words and leave now? Why should she blame Lin Yi again? Many boys looked at Lin Yi, they opened their mouths, wanting to say something but didn't say it. Just now they were subconsciously blaming Lin Yi, but they were all Lin Yi. They looked at the figures of several girls not far away, turned around and walked out without looking back. They should think carefully about whether they should continue to like the girl in their hearts. Looking at the backs of these boys leaving, several girls frowned slightly. Bai Ou looked at Lin Yi, we don't mean to blame you. The situation is urgent now. You should carry Chen Wan to the school hospital first. Hearing Bai Ou's words, Lin Yi shook his head slightly. I'm sorry, Bai Ou, my answer is no. Maybe Chen Wan needs to stay away from her most now. And I'm not the only one. There are so many people here. If Chen Wan is awake and conscious, she will definitely not choose me to carry her. Hurry up and let someone carry her to the hospital, don't make it serious. After speaking, Lin Yi turned around and walked out without hesitation with the book in his arms. Rong Hong and others looked at Bai Ou and Chen Wan in Bai Ou's arms. Rong Hong sneered twice, and then followed him out. Now you know to let my brother carry you. What did you do yesterday? What did you do in the morning? You show me a good face when you need my brother to pay, and you swear at me when you don't need him, right? Par. What a thing! Seeing Lin Yi leave, Bai Ou was stunned. She didn't expect Lin Yi to really leave Chen Wan alone. Could it be that Lin Yi really didn't like Chen Wan anymore? The love that had lasted for more than 10 years was gone in one night. After Lin Yi left, Bai Ou could only call a boy to carry Chen Wan on his back. Chen Wan was carried on the boy's back, and she should have been unconscious, but tears flowed from her eyes. Lin Yi, don't you really like me? Lin Yi strode forward. Make way, everyone, make way, there is a patient here. The boy ran with Chen Wan on his back, and ran quickly towards the front after passing by him. Chen Wan lay on the boy's body. When he saw Chen Wan lying on the other boys, Lin Yi's body stiffened instantly. An extremely oppressive feeling was like a big stone pressing on his heart, and he was a little breathless. When Bai Ou passed by Lin Yi, he couldn't help but look back at Lin Yi, but Lin Yi still had no expression on his face. Disappointed, Bai Ou turned around and chased after him with a few girls. Son, are you okay? Young Wing noticed that something was wrong with Lin Yi, and he reached out and patted Lin Yi on the shoulder. Lin Yi put on a smile that was uglier than crying. It's okay, what can happen to me? Young Wing was silent, and the two continued walking. Young Wing's face was full of hesitation, as if he had made up his mind. He said, if you still like her, chase her. If you don't like her, forget about her from now on. When Lin Yi heard Young Wing's words, he was stunned for a moment, and then said, do you like her? Maybe in the past, I loved her with the innocence of childhood, the ignorance of youth, and the passion and sincerity of youth. It would be a lie to say that I don't like her, but I know that in my heart now, my reluctance exceeds my love. Yes, I'm just unwilling. I've loved her without any reservation for more than 10 years. It's one-sided. After more than 10 years of hard work, it was all in vain. I am always unwilling to accept it in my heart. However, no matter how unwilling I am, it has come to an end. Yes, it has come to an end. After hearing Lin Yi's words, Young Wing did not respond. The next part of the journey was silent. When he was about to reach the door of the classroom, Young Wing suddenly said, the best way to forget a person is to replace him with another person. Stop, I don't want to hurt another innocent person because I was hurt. Before Young Wing finished speaking, he was immediately interrupted by Lin Yi. What's the matter with being hurt or not? Young Wing showed a sly smile. Anyway, just listen to my arrangements tonight. Lin Yi smiled and shook his head, and did not continue talking. On the other side, just after being carried out of the classroom by the boys, Chen Wan opened her eyes. Her eyes were full of grey, and she struggled, put me down. When Bai Ou and others saw Chen Wan wake up, they immediately said, Chen Wan, you just fainted, we must go to the school hospital now. Don't be willful. Put me down, I can walk by myself. Chen Wan still said coldly. The boys had no choice but to put Chen Wan down. After Chen Wan's feet touched the ground, she staggered, and Bai Ou quickly reached out to support her. Which one, classmate, you go back to class first, thank you. After saying that, Bai Ou and two girls helped Chen Wan to the school hospital. The male classmate carrying Chen Wan scratched his head, turned back to the teaching building with a disappointed look. In the school hospital. It's nothing serious, just acute enteritis, take some anti-inflammatory medicine, but remember to eat on time in the future, otherwise it will be very troublesome if it's serious. The doctor prescribed the medicine and then instructed. Thank you, doctor. Bai Ou took the medicine, paid the money, and helped Bai Ou out of the emergency room of the school hospital. Bai Ou helped Chen Wan and walked step by step. Suddenly, Chen Wan turned to look at Bai Ou, her eyes were full of tears, her voice trembled, and she choked. Bai Ou, Lin Yi really doesn't care about me anymore. Just now he saw other boys carrying me on their backs, and his face was indifferent. He was not like this before. He would feel uncomfortable when he saw other boys even if they just shook hands with me, but now he has changed, he has changed. Chapter 8, she firmly believes that she will be better without him. After hearing Chen Wan's words, Bai Ou also fell into silence. Has Lin Yi really changed? Maybe. But Bai Ou felt a little complicated. When Lin Yi didn't change, Chen Wan, you despised him everywhere, and even threw Lin Yi's face on the ground in front of so many people. Now Lin Yi has changed, and you look lost again. To be honest, Bai Ou now feels that Chen Wan is just one word, cheap. Although this word is not very good to describe Chen Wan, Bai Ou can't find other words to describe it. I don't know how Lin Yi got through the second class. After halfway through, he was drowsy and fell asleep on the table. There were many students who slept like Lin Yi, but the teacher in class seemed not to see it. In his opinion, being a teacher is not a responsibility, but a position. He just needs to do his own thing. As long as these students who sleep or play games don't affect his class, it's fine. Soon, the time came to 11:30. Ding-a-ling. The bell rang for the end of get out of class, and Lin Yi, who was sleeping soundly, woke up subconsciously, then hurriedly stuffed the books into his school bag and headed out of the classroom door. Old Lin, what are you doing? Young Wing grabbed Lin Yi and asked. I'm going to the cafeteria to save a seat for Chen Wan. There will be too many people and she won't have a seat. Lin Yi was stunned when he said that. He realized that he had nothing to do with Chen Wan. Lin Yi, you are so cheap to the bone. This kind of dog-licking thing has actually formed muscle memory. Lin Yi shook his head and showed a sunny smile. It's okay, let's go, let's eat together. Yongwing looked at Lin Yi and returned to normal, and then he was relieved. A group of people walked out of the teaching building. Which cafeteria shall we go to? Lin Yi asked. Of course, we go to the cafeteria with fewer people. Yongwing spoke without hesitation, and Lin Yi nodded. Several people walked into the nearest canteen. As soon as they entered the canteen, they saw a sea of people inside. Every window for getting food was already full of people, and the tables in the canteen were already occupied by people with school bags, keychains, meal cards and other things. Young Hong and others took a look and immediately turned their heads casually. Let's go to another canteen. When they arrived at the second canteen, there were fewer people. Young Hong didn't want to wait, so he went to the farthest canteen. There were fewer people in this canteen. Young Hong and others immediately took seats and then got food. Lin Yi got 3 dishes and a soup. It was not expensive. Meat dishes in the university were only 2.5 yuan each, and vegetarian dishes were 1 yuan. 4 people sat at a table. Lin Yi took a mouthful of rice with chopsticks and put it in his mouth. He chewed it slightly and swallowed it. A smile slowly appeared on his face. It turned out that it felt so good to be able to eat after class. Since she started college, Chen Wan preferred to eat the food in the first canteen, so every time Lin Yi ran to the first canteen as soon as the class was over to reserve a seat and then line up. But he was alone and could only get 3 meals at most, 1 for Chen Wan, 1 for Bai Ou, and 1 for Bai Ou's roommate. When he finished serving the 3 people and put them on the table, Chen Wan and the other 2 had just arrived and were eating the lunch Lin Yi had served on time. When Lin Yi turned around, there was already a long queue in the canteen, so he could only line up at the end. When he finally got his meal and came to the table, Chen Wan and the others had already finished their meal, left their plates for Lin Yi to clean up, and then went to the playground for a walk to digest the food. Lin Yi finished his meal silently, and then quietly cleaned up the plates of the three people together. When he arrived at the playground, Chen Wan and the others had already left and were preparing to go back to the dormitory for a nap. Lin Yi didn't know why he had been trying to catch up with time, but he was always one step behind Chen Wan. He kept telling himself to go faster, faster, so that he could have lunch and dinner with Chen Wan and walk on the playground together. But now he realized that it was not that he couldn't catch up with Chen Wan, but that he and Chen Wan were not on the same road at all. Even if he ran faster, the two parallel roads would never intersect. In the cafeteria, Lin Yi, Young Wing and the other two roommates were eating big mouthfuls of food. Young Wing would occasionally pick up a piece of food from Lin Yi's lunchbox, and Lin Yi would also pick up a piece of food from his lunchbox that was not in his own lunchbox. On this day, Lin Yi, who had been in college for 3 years, realized that in the university cafeteria, you can eat more than a dozen dishes in one meal, and they are not overlapping. On the other side, after returning to the dormitory to eat something, taking medicine and resting, Chen Wan got up and arrived at the cafeteria with Bai Ou and two roommates. As soon as they entered the cafeteria, there were crowds of people. Chen Wan led Bai Ou and others to the familiar dining table, but the table that basically belonged to them every day was already occupied. Chen Wan was stunned for a moment, and then she reacted with a deep bitterness on her face. He has changed. How could he still save a seat for her? How could he still queue up for her to get food? He became so resolute and left so freely. She should also learn to be free and easy, and should learn to adapt to the days without him. She should be happy, after all, she said it herself, she would live better without him. So, she must prove that she would live better without him. She is Chen Wan, she will not be wrong, yes, she will not be wrong, she firmly believes. Isn't it just queuing? What's so difficult? Bai Ou, let's go line up. Chen Wan pulled Bai Ou and two roommates to line up. But after standing for less than 2 minutes, the two roommates couldn't stand it anymore. One roommate said bitterly, Chen Wan, how about we order takeout? Or go out to eat? Recently, a new Western restaurant opened next to the school. I heard that the taste is very good. Another roommate's eyes lit up and he quickly agreed, yes, Chen Wan, you haven't treated us to Western food for a long time. How about we go out for a meal today? Bai Ou frowned slightly and was about to speak, but Chen Wan said stubbornly, no, I want to eat here today. Hearing Chen Wan's refusal, the two roommates looked at each other and could only shut up helplessly. At this time, several male students in the front line saw Chen Wan and others. Chen Wan, Bai Ou, why don't you come over to us? The two roommates' eyes suddenly lit up. Come on, Chen Wan, someone will line up for us, we don't have to wait in the back. But Chen Wan shook her head again, no, I want to line up by myself this time. The two roommates were helpless and could only look at Bai Ou. Bai Ou glanced at Chen Wan and shook his head, you go, I'll accompany Chen Wan. The two roommates looked apologetic, okay, then we'll go to the front. Sorry, Chen Wan, Bai Ou, our feet hurt because we've been standing for so long. It's all Lin Yi's fault. He always helped us get food and save seats in the past, but today he disappeared. After saying that, the two ran to the front and smiled at the two male classmates, thank you for lining up for us. The two male classmates were slightly disappointed when they saw Chen Wan didn't come over. However, they still blushed at the smiles of Chen Wan's two roommates. They scratched their heads and said two words after a long time, it's okay. Well, we'll give you our seats and we'll go to the back to line up again. Otherwise, it's unfair to others. The two boys walked out of the line and went to the back to line up again. Chapter 9, Lin Yi, have you cried in these 3 years? Soon, the two roommates finished their meals and when they passed by Chen Wan and Bai Ou, they looked at them and said, Chen Wan, Bai Ou, let's eat first. We still have something to do after we finish eating. Okay. Chen Wan nodded expressionlessly, and the two of them left immediately with their plates. Bai Ou frowned slightly at the two roommates, but didn't say anything. She turned around and her eyes fell on Chen Wan's face. After hesitating for a moment, Bai Ou said, Chen Wan, you didn't do anything wrong. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. When Chen Wan heard Bai Ou's words, she was stunned for a moment, then shook her head and pouted. I don't want to prove anything to anyone. No. Yes. She didn't want Lin Yi to prove anything. She didn't want to prove that she could still eat and live well without Lin Yi. I don't know how long it took, but it was finally Chen Wan and Bai Ou's turn. At this time, they were basically the last group of people to eat in the cafeteria. Most of the dishes were filled with only some residue. Girl, what do you want to eat? A cafeteria auntie held a plate in one hand and a spoon in the other. Chen Wan looked at the residue in the bowl and lost her appetite instantly, especially because the dishes she liked were gone. But after waiting in line for so long, Chen Wan gritted her teeth and pointed at a few dishes at random. The aunt served her a few dishes. Chen Wan turned around and left with the plate, but she was immediately stopped by the cafeteria aunt. Hey, classmate, swipe your card. You haven't swiped your card yet. Chen Wan, holding the plate, was stunned for a moment, and then she remembered that she had to swipe her meal card to eat in the cafeteria, but she seemed to have never used the meal card since she entered college. They had always only used it to go to the cafeteria, and then sat at the table occupied by Lin Yi, eating the food prepared by Lin Yi. She turned her head to look at Bai Ou, who was also confused. I didn't bring my meal card either. Chen Wan immediately froze, watching the eyes of the people around her fall on them. She just wanted to find a cellar to crawl into. She lowered her head and felt her face burning. Fortunately, at this time, a male classmate stood up. Well, I'll swipe it for you first, and you can transfer it to me on WeChat later. Beep. The male classmate's generous help made Chen Wan very grateful. But she suddenly froze. She could feel grateful for a stranger's generous help, but what about Lin Yi? Lin Yi had been there for them for 3 years, lined up for them for 3 years, and prepared meals for them since college. Why did she always think that Lin Yi's contribution was justified? Why was she so stingy to give Lin Yi even a little gratitude? She felt her heart suddenly tightened and a little painful. Bai Ou added the male classmate's WeChat, transferred the money to the male classmate, and then took the dinner plate and found an empty seat with Chen Wan to sit down. Looking at the table, which had been cleaned twice by the aunt, but still left traces of the rag, Chen Wan frowned. In the past, Lin Yi had reserved seats for them. They were the first group of people to eat at the table, so the table was very clean and had been disinfected the night before. Chen Wan had to endure the discomfort in her heart and had to sit down, because all the tables had been used now, and this one was the cleanest. Putting the plate on the table, she picked up the chopsticks, picked up a dish and put it into her mouth. She frowned immediately. It was cold. It was not her favorite dish at all, nor was it the always hot and steaming taste in her memory. But she still chewed and swallowed it. The rice was cold. In the end, their rice was also the rice at the bottom of the pot. After the temperature dropped, it was not only cold but also hard. Every bite, Chen Wan seemed to be tortured, and every bite was difficult to swallow. But her heart seemed to hold back her breath again, and she swallowed the food mouthful by mouthful. She wanted to prove herself. Prove that she could still live well without Lin Yi. He could say he didn't like him, leave him, change him, so freely. So why couldn't she prove to him that she could live better without him? Thinking about it, Chen Wan felt that the rice in her mouth was a little salty, and looked down. Oh, it turned out that her tears fell into the rice. But, what is there for me to cry about? Didn't Lin Yi go through the past 3 years like this? So, Lin Yi, have you cried in the past 3 years? A sad smile appeared on Chen Wan's face, and she ate the cold food with tears in her eyes. Bai Ou looked at Chen Wan swallowing with tears, her eyes full of heartache, but she knew that there were some things that Chen Wan had to go through, otherwise, Chen Wan would never grow up. However, no one can stay with Chen Wan forever, and no one will always take care of and accommodate Chen Wan. Everyone may leave, such as Lin Yi, or herself. I don't know how long it took. Chen Wan finally finished the food on the plate. She felt a little proud in her heart. She wanted Lin Yi to watch all this. She wanted to tell Lin Yi, look, I'm still fine without you. Putting the plate in the dining car, Chen Wan and Bai Ou headed towards the playground as usual. As soon as they arrived at the entrance of the playground, Chen Wan held Bai Ou's hand tightly. Bai Yu looked up and saw several figures walking out of the playground. One of the figures made Chen Wan squeeze Bai Yu's hand tightly, but her face was still calm. Lin Yi also saw Chen Wan and Bai Yu, or rather, from the moment Chen Wan and Bai Yu appeared, his eyes had already noticed the two of them. He was clearly trying to control himself from looking at the two of them. But the more he controlled himself, the more his peripheral vision would fall on the two of them. It was still that word. Cheap. But Lin Yi, isn't this what you were looking for before? You rushed so hard, wasn't it just to have lunch and dinner with Chen Wan, and take a walk on the playground together? You couldn't get it at the beginning, but now the opportunity is in front of you. Perhaps, as long as you speak, your dream can come true. But Lin Yi, people should know themselves. She will live well without you. Don't licking dogs, licking to the end, don't you still have nothing? Lin Yi had no expression on his face. Only Yang Wing's hand on his shoulder could feel Lin Yi's suddenly stiffened muscles. Yang Wing gently pinched Lin Yi's shoulder, and took Lin Yi in his arms and strode towards Chen Wan and Bai Yu. Yang Wing and Lin Yi saw Bai Yu and Chen Wan. Bai Yu and Chen Wan also saw Yang Wing, Lin Yi and others. Yang Wing. Bai Yu. Everyone suddenly nodded and greeted. When Yang Wing greeted, he hugged Lin Yi tightly with one hand, and his eyes were full of domineering looks at Bai Yu and Chen Wan. As if to say, Xiao Lin, I'm here to protect you. Then everyone passed by. Just after passing by, Lin Yi and Chen Wan's bodies softened at the same time. Chen Wan's face was pale and her eyes were red. She gritted her teeth tightly to prevent the tears in her eyes from flowing down. She can cry in front of anyone, can be sad in front of anyone, but not in front of Lin Yi. Chapter 10. If I show signs of illness, slap me to wake me up immediately. Woo woo. When the backs of Lin Yi, Rong Hong and others finally became just a small black dot, Chen Wan couldn't help crying. She was scared, she was really scared. When she just passed by, Lin Yi didn't even look at her. His indifferent look made Chen Wan feel very strange and scared. She began to panic, but she couldn't let go of her pride. She never thought of bowing to Lin Yi, and at the same time, she didn't know what to do. Bai Yu looked at Lin Yi's back, then at the crying Chen Wan. She opened her mouth and finally just sighed softly. She reached out and patted Chen Wan's back gently. Cry, silly girl, cry your heart out. For the whole afternoon, Chen Wan didn't know how she got through it, but on the contrary, Lin Yi felt much more relaxed, and he didn't even go to a class in the afternoon. This is a piano class. In fact, he doesn't like piano, or he doesn't like music, or even music school. At that time, Chen Wan chose the music school, so he followed. In addition to majoring in music, Chen Wan also took a minor in piano, and audited classes in orchestral, folk music, guqin, zheng, pieper, etc. Chen Wan's mother is a professor at the music school, so she has been exposed to related instruments and knowledge since she was a child, so it is not difficult for her to learn. She ranks among the top in both her major and minor, and she gets a lot of scholarships. What about Lin Yi? In order to be with Chen Wan, or to increase the time he spends with Chen Wan, he does whatever Chen Wan does. He also took a minor in piano, and audited various classes like Chen Wan. However, he was just an ordinary rural child. When he first came into contact with these things, he felt flustered and had no interest at all. As a result, he failed to major or minor, and was busy all day long, and his grades were barely at the bottom. This made Chen Wan look down on Lin Yi even more. So now, Lin Yi simply threw away all the messy things. Anyway, he could graduate from college and get his degree and diploma smoothly. Music was his main major, and he could at least graduate. For the minor piano major, his mind was full of knowledge about piano. He was a master-level piano player, and now he could teach those teachers. As for those auditing classes, forget it. Whoever wants to listen can listen as much as he wants, but he won't suffer. So, for the first time in 3 years of college, Lin Yi skipped class, took a shower, and then took his first fragrant nap since college. In the piano professional class, in the 15th step classroom, a white-haired professor stood on the podium, with an old-fashioned thermos cup on the desk in front of him. Swoosh, he opened the thermos cup and drank a sip of warm water, then prepared to start the roll call. At this time, Chen Wan in the third row kept looking for Lin Yi in the crowd, but she couldn't find Lin Yi in the whole classroom. By OU. Chen Wan gently pushed By OU beside her. By OU turned around and looked puzzled. What's wrong? Lin Yi didn't come to class. Professor Huang is notoriously strict. If someone doesn't come to his class, all the usual marks will be lost. How could Lin Yi not come to class? He has never missed a class since his freshman year. Is it because of me? Is he not coming to class because he doesn't want to see me? But how can he not want his own future because of me? Chen Wan was about to cry anxiously. Hearing Chen Wan's class, By OU also quickly scanned the classroom, but really didn't find Lin Yi. By OU looked helpless. It's too late, Professor Huang will read Lin Yi's name soon. The teacher on the podium has started to call the roll with the roster, and soon, Lin Yi's name is read. Lin Yi. Professor Huang's voice fell, but the whole classroom was still quiet. Lin Yi. Professor Huang raised his voice again, but the classroom was still quiet. Professor Huang, that. Lin Yi is sick. After thinking about it, Chen Wan gritted her teeth and stood up to cover for Lin Yi. Hearing Chen Wan's words, Professor Huang glanced at Chen Wan, but his eyes were full of sharpness. Sick? If you are sick, you can't even ask for a sick leave? Can't you even ask someone to help bring a leave application? Tell Lin Yi that his regular points are gone. After speaking, Professor Huang continued to call out the names of the people below. Chen Wan could only sit back. If Lin Yi really didn't want to see her and didn't come to class, she would feel even more guilty. After finally getting through the get out of class, By OU packed up his school bag and walked out with Chen Wan. No, By OU, I want to find Lin Yi. I won't allow him to be irresponsible to himself and his future like this. After class, Chen Wan pulled By OU towards Lin Yi's dormitory. Lin Yi was sleeping in a daze and felt someone pushing him twice. Wake up, Lin Yi. Lin Yi opened his eyes and it was Wing. What? It's time for lunch. What the hell, it's Chen Wan who's here to see you. Lin Yi instantly became alert, sat up with a somersault, and then jumped down the stairs to the ground with a bang. Before his feet were put on the slippers, his hands had already grabbed the clothes and put them on himself. Suddenly, Lin Yi was stunned. Par. He slapped himself hard. Lin Yi, you are really cheap. Yang Hong quickly grabbed Lin Yi and was frightened by Lin Yi's slap. Walk, what are you crazy about? It's okay, I just want to be slapped to teach me a lesson. Lin Yi replied, then sat on the stool and put on his shoes slowly. After putting on his shoes, he went into the bathroom and brushed his teeth, washed his face, and fiddled with his hairstyle. Then he sat on the stool again. What does she want from me? Lin Yi looked at Wing, who rolled his eyes. She's not looking for me, how do I know? Then tell her I'm still sleeping, I don't have time, or I'm taking a shit, masturbating, whatever excuse you want. Lin Yi said perfunctorily. He really didn't want to see Chen Wan. It was just one day. He suddenly felt so relaxed in a world without Chen Wan, as if a mountain had been lifted off his shoulders. Hearing Lin Yi's increasingly outrageous excuses, Wing rolled his eyes again. You should go out and have a look, although you don't like her anymore, there's no need to be so stiff about the relationship. Or, you still haven't let her go, so you don't dare to face her. Who said I don't dare to face her? What do I have to be afraid of? Lin Yi immediately put on his clothes and walked out. Took a step, he suddenly stopped, turned his head and looked at Wing. You go with me. Why? If I show any signs of illness, slap me to wake me up immediately. Chapter 11, Chen Wan, can you please not always take your place in my heart so seriously? Rong Hong was stunned for a moment, looking at Lin Yi's serious face. He nodded and said, okay. At this time, in the boys' dormitory, seeing Chen Wan and By OU standing downstairs of the dormitory, many people quickly recognized Chen Wan, and many people came out to watch the excitement. Even if they didn't watch the excitement, looking at the beauty can relax their mood. But they were still confused. After all, this seemed to be Chen Wan's first time to come to the boys' dormitory, right? As for who Chen Wan came to see, they all knew that the most affectionate dog king of the Conservatory of Music Lin Yi. What do you think Chen Wan is doing here? This seems to be the first time Chen Wan has come to see Lin Yi in the 3 years of college, right? Yes, Lin Yi used to stand at the door of the girls' dormitory waiting for Chen Wan. I heard that one night, Chen Wan and her roommates were playing Truth or Dare. When it was Chen Wan's turn, someone suggested that Chen Wan find a boy who was willing to come downstairs in the dormitory within 5 minutes. Then Chen Wan found many boys, and those boys refused for various reasons. In the end, Chen Wan thought of Lin Yi, and then a phone call. Guess what? What? Tell us quickly, don't keep us in suspense. Beg me. Dad, tell me quickly satisfy my curiosity . Oh, I'll tell you right away, don't disgust me. At that time, Chen Wan called Lin Yi in the middle of the night and lied to Lin Yi that she had a stomachache. Lin Yi immediately found the medicine, and then he didn't even have time to put on his clothes and pants. He just wore a shirt, shorts, and a pair of slippers and ran to the door of the girls' dormitory within 5 minutes. After arriving at the dormitory door, Lin Yi realized that Chen Wan was playing Truth or Dare, and was playing with Lin Yi. At that time, Chen Wan's roommate posted this news in the girls' group, and immediately made Lin Yi a laughingstock of all the girls. Since then, Lin Yi has a nickname, the first dog licker king. Wok, is this Lin Yi cheap? Chen Wan just treats him as a clown, but he still licks him like this. Some people were shocked. But now Chen Wan actually took the initiative to find Lin Yi. Do you think Lin Yi got it? Someone else said weakly, and the others suddenly widened their eyes and took a breath of cold air. Looking at the eyes of the crowd and hearing the faint discussions of the crowd, Chen Wan felt that time was so difficult to endure. She lowered her head, feeling her face burning hot, and her heart filled with shame. But she really didn't mean to humiliate Lin Yi at that time. She really just wanted to play a game. She didn't expect Lin Yi to really come. And she didn't expect her roommate to post this to the girls' group. She never thought that this incident would cause such a big sensation and embarrass Lin Yi. But she already knew she was wrong, and later Lin Yi said he didn't care. She really didn't mean it. Chen Wan was very sad, first because of the discussion of the crowd, and second because Lin Yi hadn't come down yet. Lin Yi had never asked her to wait for more than 10 seconds, but this time, she had been standing here for more than 5 minutes. Facing the gazes of those people, she felt like a needle piercing her body, like a thorn in her back, very uncomfortable. And at this moment, there was a commotion in the boys' dormitory. It was Lin Yi and Rong Hong who were walking downstairs. Seeing Lin Yi, many people's eyes lit up slightly, with a hint of excitement in their eyes. Chen Wan's eyes also lit up. Although the waiting process was not good, the result was good after all. Lin Yi came. Seeing Lin Yi coming down, Chen Wan's heart was even a little excited. But Lin Yi's expression was cold. What do you want to see me for? Lin Yi's cold tone was like a basin of cold water poured on Chen Wan's head. The mood that was a little excited just now sank instantly. But she still plucked up the courage to look at Lin Yi. As soon as she raised her head, she met Lin Yi's eyes, thick eyebrows, big eyes, high nose bridge, deep eyes. Not particularly good looking, but with a sunny, tough and handsome. Chen Wan was a little surprised. It turned out that Lin Yi, who had been by her side for more than 10 years, was so good looking. Why had she never noticed it before? Chen Wan was looking at Lin Yi, and Lin Yi was also looking at Chen Wan. Chen Wan's naked gaze made Lin Yi feel like he was naked and his face was a little hot, and even his heart that was about to be silent began to beat again. He was wondering if Chen Wan knew she was wrong, and if Chen Wan came here to apologize to him this time. And should he forgive? Par. Young Hong slapped Lin Yi on the head. R. Lin Yi exclaimed, woke up instantly, and then slapped himself again. Lin Yi. You cheap thing. When others don't need you, they can throw you on the ground like a rag, then step on you hard, leaving wounds on your body without hesitation. But as soon as she waved at you with a bone, you wanted to forgive her happily. You are a human being. You are not a dog. You have your own self-esteem, understand? Lin Yi told himself viciously in his heart, and his heart quickly turned cold again. Chen Wan, I can't like you anymore. Chen Wan was confused by the actions of Rong Hong and Lin Yi. The moment Rong Hong slapped Lin Yi on the head, she subconsciously wanted to protect Lin Yi and scold Rong Hong. But the next moment Lin Yi slapped himself in the face again. She was instantly confused. Chen Wan, what do you want to talk to me about? If nothing, I'll leave. Lin Yi's cold voice pulled the confused Chen Wan back. Meeting Lin Yi's eyes, she shrank her head slightly, and then mustered up the courage. Lin Yi, why didn't you go to the piano professional class today? Do you know that Professor Huang has deducted all your usual scores? As for me, I won't go if I don't want to. Lin Yi shook his head slightly. Lin Yi, how can you do this? How can you easily ruin your future because of me? Do you want to ruin your future and make me feel guilty? Make me blame myself. Chen Wan looked at Lin Yi with a look of disappointment. Lin Yi smiled. Chen Wan, can you please not always take your place in my heart so seriously? Actually, I tell you, I don't like piano major, musicology, or even the whole music school at all. Do you know that every time I go to audit those messy classes, it feels like I'm being tortured? Hearing Lin Yi's words, Chen Wan was struck by lightning. Impossible. If you don't like it, why do you choose music as your major? If you don't like it, why do you choose piano as your minor? If you don't like it, why do you go to audit, you? Chen Wan suddenly stopped talking, as if she thought of something. She looked at Lin Yi with tears flashing in her eyes. Lin Yi smiled freely. Yes, it was because of you that I chose all the wrong things I didn't like. But now I have thrown away all those messy things, and I feel very relaxed. I have never been so relaxed before. Today, for the first time, I ate my first breakfast on time without a stomachache, and I ate my first hot meal on time. Steaming lunch, not the cold leftovers. Even someone can accompany me to the playground for a walk, and then take a nice nap, and I can skip classes if I don't want to go to class. Anyway, I don't like the shitty piano professional class. Chapter 12, I just realized that I am so handsome. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Chen Wan's body began to tremble. Every word Lin Yi said was like a knife cutting her heart. No, 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 it's not like that, it's not like that, how could you not like it, how could it be because of me? Chen Wan shook her head frantically, tears couldn't help flowing down. I know, Lin Yi, you said this on purpose, you just want me to feel more guilty about you, right? You just want me to blame myself more, right? Lin Yi, are you taking revenge on me? Do you want to impose all the discomfort and pain I once gave you back on me? Hearing Chen Wan's words, Lin Yi looked straight at Chen Wan, and saw Chen Wan's slightly red and swollen eyes, and her pitiful appearance with tears. If it was before, he would have tried every possible way to make Chen Wan happy, right? Now, looking at Chen Wan's weak and pitiful appearance, he suddenly felt a little disgusted. Because at this time, Chen Wan had not found a reason in herself, but was still thinking about putting all the responsibilities on him, thinking that he was so unbearable. Chen Wan, you are right, you will live better without me, just like now, because of me, you are crying again, and I make you uncomfortable again. Go away, don't come to me again in the future. Lin Yi turned and headed for his dormitory. Rong Hong also glanced at Chen Wan. He now felt that Chen Wan was more and more annoying. She knew that she might be wrong, but she insisted on putting the blame on Lin Yi. Is that ridiculous pride really that important? What girls don't bow their heads, the crown on their heads will fall off, it's all bullshit. Please don't come to Lin Yi in the future. In fact, without you, Lin Yi is really living a good life. Since you also think that you will live a good life if he leaves you, then please let him go, and let you go too, okay? Rong Hong looked at Chen Wan, and then regardless of Chen Wan's reaction, he turned around and chased after Lin Yi. Chen Wan stood there looking at Lin Yi's back, her tears gradually blurred her eyes. Lin Yi, you used to bow your head, you have bowed your head so many times, why can't you bow your head again? Chen Wan bit her lip. She knew that she might have been wrong before, but the pride in her heart would never allow her to bow her head. Besides, for so many years, no matter right or wrong, it was always Lin Yi who compromised first and bowed his head first. By OU, let's go. Chen Wan turned around. By OU glanced at Lin Yi's back, then at Chen Wan's back, and finally sighed and followed Chen Wan. She knew that Lin Yi really liked Chen Wan. After all, a relationship of more than 10 years could not be faked. As for whether Chen Wan liked Lin Yi, she was not sure before, but today she was sure that Chen Wan liked Lin Yi. But this kind of liking was more of a kind of liking for something of her own, just like liking a doll, liking a pet of her own. She liked him, but she could not allow him to have any thoughts or other ideas. She was like a princess who was high above and would never allow anyone to disobey. She would not allow anyone to blame her for the fault, even if she knew she was wrong, but her pride would never allow her to bow her head. In short, it was acting. In fact, this matter was very simple. If Chen Wan lowered her head and said a few soft words to admit her mistakes, maybe Lin Yi would return to Chen Wan. Bai Ou also felt that Chen Wan wanted to say this, but the words changed their meaning when they came to her lips. Is it because their words did not express the meaning? No. Or it was just acting. Time soon came to night. In the boys' dormitory, Young Wing dressed up gorgeously, wearing a set of customized casual clothes without any brand logo. At this time, Young Wing was posing in front of the mirror. After brushing the hair in front of his forehead to the side, Young Wing turned his head and looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi was changing clothes at this time. The clothes were brought by Young Wing for Lin Yi. It was a set of black solid color casual suits, and a golden ring pin was pinned on the left pocket of the collar. The position of the cuffs of the sleeves was embroidered with golden quaint patterns with gold thread. Lin Yi adjusted his collar, and Young Wing turned his head and looked at him. He asked, "How is it?" Young Hong was shocked. "Wok, son, I've been in college for 3 years, and I never realized that you are so handsome. Wok, you're almost catching up with me. As the saying goes, people rely on clothes, and Buddha relies on gold. The ancients are not deceiving me." Usually, Lin Yi basically wears a pair of casual jeans and an ordinary shirt, and his hair is never taken care of. He just dries it naturally after washing it. And today, after Lin Yi took a shower, Young Hong specially made a hairstyle for Lin Yi, freeing his forehead, and then after putting on this custom-made clothes, the whole person's temperament instantly came up. Lin Yi looked at Young Hong's reaction and was a little unconvinced. Is it so exaggerated? Young Hong pulled Lin Yi over, and Lin Yi looked at himself in the mirror, and he was also slightly stunned. "Wok, I turned out to be so handsome. I'm so handsome and I've been a dog for 3 years." Looking at himself in the mirror, Lin Yi wanted to slap himself twice. What did he miss in the 3 years of college? Okay, stop being so showy. Let's go. The people I met should be here. Young Hong called Lin Yi. The two went out. When the people in the corridor saw Lin Yi, they were slightly shocked. After Lin Yi left, they looked at each other and saw disbelief in each other's eyes. Is that Lin Yi next to Rong Hong? When did he become so handsome? It seems so. I didn't expect that Lin Yi would not look so handsome when he didn't dress up. Now he is so handsome. You said that Lin Yi suddenly stopped licking Chen Wan. Did he find that he is handsome now? Maybe. With Lin Yi's face, did he need to be a licker in college? Licking a baloney is enough. Everyone was talking about the direction where Lin Yi and Rong Hong disappeared. On the other side, Rong Hong had already brought Lin Yi to the school's underground parking lot. Rong Hong took out the key and pressed it. A red Porsche Panamera. This car is more than 2 million yuan. Although it is not very expensive compared to those top sports cars, it is already very good in a university. Buzz. The roar of the sports car's engine resounded throughout the underground parking lot. The sports car slowly drove out of the underground parking lot and headed towards the school gate. Along the way, this flashy red Porsche attracted many people's attention. At this time, there were also many vehicles coming in and out of the school gate. Rong Hong drove the car and followed behind other cars. At this time, at the school gate, many people's eyes fell on Rong Hong's red Porsche. In the crowd, 2 girls couldn't take their eyes off the Porsche. Rong Hong. Rong Hong, can you give us a break? We are Chen Wan's roommates. Chen Wan's 2 roommates walked up and bent over to look at Young Wing. Chapter 13, Yang Yu. Young Hong raised his eyebrows. You asked my co-pilot. Today my co-pilot has the final say. Hearing Rong Hong's words, Chen Wan's 2 roommates immediately went to the co-pilot's seat with a warm smile on their faces. This handsome guy, do you need 2 beauties in the back seat? Sorry. Lin Yi said 2 words lightly. He had no desire to let these 2 women get in the car. When Chen Wan and her roommates played Truth or Dare, it was these 2 women who spread the news that made him ridiculed by countless people. Are you Lin Yi? One of Chen Wan's roommates widened his eyes in disbelief. Oh my god, Lin Yi, you are really Lin Yi, how come you have become so handsome today? Another person also exclaimed. Lin Yi, we are Chen Wan's roommates and good friends. We just happened to go out for a trip, so you let your friends give us a ride. Don't worry, in return, we will definitely say good things about you in front of Chen Wan. One of the girls laughed. Younghong, let's go. Lin Yi no longer had any desire to continue talking with Chen Wan and his two roommates. He looked directly at Rong Hong. I understand. Rong Hong nodded and stepped on the accelerator. Buzz buzz buzz. The Porsche's exhaust pipe exploded directly, and then he left the school directly under the stunned gaze of Chen Wan's two roommates. Lin Yi is too much. If he doesn't want to give me a ride, then don't give me a ride. Why is he so stingy? We don't insist on them giving us a ride. We just asked casually. No, I must tell Chen Wan about this. Lin Yi didn't reserve a seat for us today, didn't queue for us, and now he treats us with such a bad attitude. Chen Wan will definitely not let him go. After saying this, one of Chen Wan's roommates immediately called Chen Wan. After telling Chen Wan all this, Chen Wan was silent for a while, but said, "Sorry, I have nothing to do with Lin Yi anymore, and I have no control over anything about him." After saying this, Chen Wan hung up the phone, and her two roommates looked at each other. After hanging up the phone, Chen Wan looked at Bai Ou, Lin Yi and Youngwing went out. Bai Ou nodded. I heard that Youngwing invited some girls from the neighboring college to have a social gathering today. Hearing Bai Ou's words, Chen Wan's face turned pale, and her nails dug into her flesh. On the other side, after more than 10 minutes, Youngwing's sports car stopped in front of a bar. The name of the bar was Fireworks, and all kinds of luxury cars were parked in front of the bar. Youngwing walked in with Lin Yi. Hello, have you bought your ticket? I booked a private room. Youngwing took out his mobile phone and handed a membership card to the front desk. Okay, welcome distinguished member. Youngwing nodded, and then took Lin Yi upstairs. The second floor was full of private rooms. Pushing open the door, there were already quite a few people inside. Brother Rong. Brother Rong. After Rong Hong led Lin Yi in, many people stood up. Yes. Rong Hong nodded, then looked at everyone and said loudly, Hey, my best friend, Lin Yi, has been hurt recently. I hope that all the beautiful sisters and sisters today can use your gentle and broad arms to warm his injured heart. Thank you all. Brother Rong, is it enough to just warm his heart? A hot girl suddenly spoke with a smirk on her face. Rong Hong was stunned for a moment, and then smiled and said, Whether you can warm him in other places depends on your ability. By the way, my brother has never been in love since he was a child. Well, he is still a little chick. Hearing Rong Hong's words, many girls in the box brightened their eyes slightly. Go sit there. Rong Hong pointed to the middle of the two beautiful girls, one of whom was the hot girl who just spoke. Lin Yi. Go ahead, why are you shy? Yang Hong pushed Lin Yi between the two girls. Yang Yu, you help me take good care of my brother. He may not be used to so many beauties for the first time. Don't worry, Brother Rong, I promise to take good care of this little brother. The girl with a hot body immediately laughed. Yang Hong smiled and nodded, then found a gap between the two girls and sat down. Today, our brothers and sisters finally got together. Don't be restrained and have fun. Rong Hong shouted, and everyone quickly agreed. Lin Yi sat in his seat, feeling a little nervous. This sealed space was mixed with the smell of wine and women's perfume. Hormones constantly stimulated his head, making him feel a little confused. Lin Yi, have a drink. Just at this time, the girl with a hot body spoke and handed over a cup. Lin Yi subconsciously took the wine glass. Thank you, do you know me? Lin Yi looked at the girl and suddenly found that the girl in front of him was different from the other girls. Although she had a very hot body, she looked a little tempting. But she was dressed very conservatively. A short-sleeve tights on her upper body basically covered her body tightly, only her neck and two arms were exposed. Although she was wearing a skirt on her lower body, it was over her knees. Her face looked a little immature, but her facial features were amazing, especially her eyes, which gave people a feeling as pure as spring water. She always had a faint smile on her face, revealing two naughty canine teeth. I don't know if it was Lin Yi's illusion. He always felt that there was a hint of sadness between her eyebrows. It's just that her face was made up very heavily, so it felt a little unreal. Hearing Lin Yi's words, the girl chuckled. Didn't Brother Rong introduce your name just now? Lin Yi's old face turned red, and he scratched his head awkwardly. Okay. But, I really know you. We have met before, do you remember? Yang Yu suddenly added, and when she said this, her eyes were always on Lin Yi's face, as if she was expecting something. Huh. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and he couldn't remember when he had met the girl in front of him. Seeing the doubt and uncertainty in Lin Yi's eyes, a flash of disappointment flashed in Yang Yu's eyes. At that time in the Imperial Capital Palace Primary School, the boy with short hair in the class, with dark skin, the boy who didn't like to talk the most. Yang Yu reminded. According to Yang Yu's reminder, Lin Yi began to search his memory of primary school in his mind. Suddenly, his eyes widened. Walk, you are Xiao Haizi. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Lin Yi just blurted out and apologized immediately. Xiao Haizi was Yang Yu's nickname at the beginning. Because she was small and dark, some bad kids gave her the nickname of Xiao Haizi when they bullied her. It's okay. I'm used to it. Yang Yu shook her head slightly, not caring at all. But I remember you are not a boy. How come you are? Walk, when you grow up, didn't you go to Thailand? Lin Yi suddenly widened his eyes. Snap. Yang Yu slapped Lin Yi on the head, pouted and rolled her eyes at Lin Yi, and said unhappily, what are you talking about? I'm a girl. Why go to Thailand? Really? Chapter 14, I give her freedom, and I give myself freedom. Yang Yu slapped Lin Yi and glared at him angrily. Lin Yi quickly held his head and begged for mercy. I'm wrong, and it's not okay. No, unless you treat me to a meal later. Yang Yu showed a pair of small tiger teeth, and a cunning flashed in his eyes. Okay. We are old classmates who haven't seen each other for many years. When the time comes, Young Wing, I, and you will get together and have a good chat. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. When he spoke, he couldn't help looking at Yang Yu. He felt that the saying that girls change a lot when they grow up was indeed true. The little black boy who had a boy's hairstyle, dark skin, and chased after him all day long actually looked so good after growing up. Lin Yi even felt that after the filter of Chen Wan disappeared, she might not be as pretty as Yang Yu. Besides, Chen Wan's figure was much worse than Yang Yu's. Yang Yu was a little cow. Whoever married her would have no worries about food for their whole family. While Lin Yi was looking at Yang Yu was also looking at Lin Yi. Lin Yi, I didn't expect you to be so handsome when you grow up. What do you mean I'm so handsome when I grow up? I've been handsome since I was a child, okay. Lin Yi pouted. Yang Yu rolled his eyes. Yes, you're handsome, crickets. You're just envious of my handsomeness. Lin Yi smiled wickedly. I envy you for being handsome? Look at my figure and face. Do I need to envy you? I'm not bragging. As long as I wave my hand, the people chasing me can line up from the 5th ring to the 1st ring. Yang Yu said while straightening his chest, and a pair of balls bounced mischievously twice. At this moment, Lin Yi and Yang Yu were stunned for a moment. Lin Yi glanced at it with burning eyes, swallowed his saliva and said subconsciously, it is indeed quite big. Yang Yu. Lin Yi, you are a hooligan. Yang Yu's face turned red, like a red apple, making people want to bite it hard. Lin Yi was a little stunned. Fuck, why didn't the person he licked for these years be Yang Yu, the little cow? You are still looking. Yang Yu stamped her feet in anger. Lin Yi came back to his senses and retracted his gaze. He spread his hands like a rogue. What's wrong? What's wrong with being a hooligan? I see what's wrong with you. I'm single, you're single too, let's try and maybe we can create sparks of love. TSK, you're obviously a pervert, you just think I'm pretty now, so you're tempted by me. You're wronging me. I didn't, I confessed to you in junior high school, and you rejected me on the spot. Yang Yu puffed her lips, her eyes full of indignation. Confess? When did you confess to me? I really can't remember, and in my memory you're just a boy. It's strange that I could accept your confession at that time. Lin Yi hurriedly explained. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Yang Yu glanced at Lin Yi with a faint gaze. Yes, from childhood to adulthood, there's only Chen Wan in your eyes, how could you still remember? Seeing Yang Yu's resentful eyes like a resentful woman in the boudoir, Lin Yi couldn't help but shudder. Okay, whatever happened in the past, it's all in the past. Let's have another toast. One is to celebrate our reunion as old classmates, and the other is to celebrate my rebirth. Lin Yi raised his glass. Yang Yu also picked up the bottle. Juang tilder tilder. They drank it all in one gulp, put down their glasses. Yang Yu looked at Lin Yi, hesitated for a moment, and asked, "Are you really going to give up Chen Wan? You know it too?" Lin Yi asked back. "Yeah, I know it." Yang Yu nodded. "That's right, there were so many people at Chen Wan's birthday party. I must have been famous in the neighborhood, it's not surprising that you know it." Lin Yi nodded, poured himself a glass of wine and drank it all. "It can't be said that giving up, I can only say that I gave her freedom and myself freedom. This is also good. In fact, you are so handsome, there is no need to hang yourself on a tree. Look around you, maybe there are many people who like you." After Yang Yu finished speaking, her eyes were a little flustered. Hearing Yang Yu's words, Lin Yi laughed self-deprecatingly. "You don't know the influence of the title of the first licking dog king of the Conservatory of Music. Since that time, no girl will have any idea about me. Because they all know that I am just Chen Wan's licking dog, and liking me is a loss." Hearing Lin Yi's words, Yang Yu opened his mouth, but said nothing. He just poured a glass of wine and clinked glasses with Lin Yi. Time passed quickly. After meeting Yang Yu, Lin Yi seemed to have found a tree hole to confide in. He vented many things in his heart under the influence of drunkenness and said them all out. After saying a lot of things, Lin Yi felt much more comfortable in his heart. The two talked and laughed constantly about the past. When it came to funny things, the two laughed to death. In the end, the other leaned on the sofa, feeling relaxed all over, and most of the depression in his heart disappeared. Yang Yu leaned on his shoulder drunkenly. "Lin Yi. If you knew I was a girl, do you think I might be the one you like?" Yang Yu leaned on Lin Yi's shoulder. When she spoke, she tried her best to raise her head and looked at Lin Yi's chin and handsome face, her eyes slightly dazed. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, "Maybe. In fact, if my parents and Uncle Chen hadn't instilled in me the idea of protecting Chen Wan since I was a child, I might not like Chen Wan so much. After facing myself thoroughly, I found that I like Chen Wan, but I am more unwilling than like." After speaking, Lin Yi fell into silence. Bang! At this moment, the door of the box was suddenly opened, and two figures broke in. The whole noisy box suddenly became silent. Everyone looked at the door of the box. Two figures stood at the door, searching the crowd quickly. Finally, her eyes fell on Lin Yi, who was sitting on the sofa, and Yang Yu, who was leaning against Lin Yi's shoulder. The people who came were Chen Wan and Bai Ou. Yang Hong and others in the box also recognized Chen Wan, and the atmosphere was awkward. The moment he saw Chen Wan, Lin Yi's heart subconsciously flashed a trace of panic. He subconsciously wanted to stand up and explain. At this moment, a hand hugged Lin Yi tightly and pulled Lin Yi back to sit down again. Feeling the touch on his arm, Lin Yi reacted. "Damn it. This damn muscle memory. I have nothing to do with Chen Wan anymore, why am I nervous? Is this coming to my door? Or are you going to come and ask for punishment? Huh? Chen Wan." Lin Yi looked at Chen Wan, his drunken eyes full of indifference. Yang Yu hugged Lin Yi tightly, resting her head on Lin Yi's shoulder, and looked at Chen Wan with provocation in her eyes. "Chen Wan. The boy who has liked you for more than 10 years, you threw him on the ground and trampled on him casually like a rag. From now on, I will not let this boy be bullied by you again. If you don't like him, let me like him. I have liked him for more than 10 years. I knew I couldn't win against you before, but now, I know you can't win against me, because you no longer have the qualifications to be fearless." Chapter 15. Everything between her and Lin Yi seemed to be coming to an end. Chen Wan froze, staring at Lin Yi and Yang Yu. After an unknown amount of time, Chen Wan's hoarse voice rang out, "Sorry, we went to the wrong door." After that, Chen Wan turned and disappeared at the door of the box. Bai Ou glanced at Lin Yi and Yang Yu, then turned and chased after Chen Wan. When Bai Ou chased her to the street, he saw Chen Wan walking on the street in a daze. Bai Ou quickly chased after her and held Chen Wan's hand. "Chen Wan, let's go back." Hearing Bai Ou's voice, Chen Wan suddenly threw herself into Bai Ou's arms and burst into tears. Bai Ou reached out and gently patted Chen Wan on the back. "Bai Ou, Lin Yi really doesn't like me anymore. He really doesn't like me anymore. He said he would throw away the relationship of more than 10 years, but how could he contact other girls so quickly?" Chen Wan cried. Bai Ouyu's face was filled with deep helplessness. My eldest lady, Lin Yi has liked you for more than 10 years, but you didn't take it seriously. You rejected Lin Yi in front of so many people, said those words to humiliate Lin Yi, and even danced waltz with others in front of Lin Yi. Now that he has contacted other girls, you think he is guilty of a heinous crime. Even though she is Chen Wan's best friend, Bai Ouyu can't bear to watch it, but seeing Chen Wan crying now, she can only comfort her. Chen Wan, don't be sad, Lin Yi is just drunk. Chen Wan shook her head sadly. No, that girl looked at me differently, and was full of hostility. Even if Lin Yi doesn't like her, she must be interested in Lin Yi. And Lin Yi was still around me and paying attention to me a few days ago, but he turned around and got together with another woman. Bai Ouyu was speechless and didn't even want to say anything to comfort Chen Wan. Lin Yi was right. Chen Wan kept saying that she was not Lin Yi's princess, but everything Chen Wan did and said made her think of herself as a princess who was high above. Chen Wan. When will you grow up? When will you figure out the reality? Lin Yi, you have already lost me. Bai Ouyu called Chen Wan's driver. After a while, the driver came to take Chen Wan home. Bai Ouyu sat on a bench on the street, holding her delicate face in her hands. She was worried about how to make Chen Wan accept the reality. At this moment, she saw several figures coming out of the bar, one of whom was Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little drunk. Bai Ouyu saw the girl who had just leaned on Lin Yi's shoulder in the box was struggling to support Lin Yi. She was about 1.6 meters tall and carried one arm of Lin Yi, who was about 1.8 meters tall, standing on the roadside waiting for Yongwing to drive out. Yongwing opened the car door, the girl stuffed Lin Yi in, and then sat in directly, and then Yongwing started the car. Bai Ouyu watched Rong Hong's car go away. It took her a long time to come back to her senses. She had a bitter smile on her face. Chen Wan, if you don't wake up, Lin Yi will really be lost by you. On the other side, Chen Wan was sitting in the car. She used to like the starry sky ceiling of Rolls-Royce very much, but today she felt extremely bleak. She looked at the scenes that kept passing by outside the car window, and the feeling became stronger. Everything between her and Lin Yi seemed to be coming to an end. But Lin Yi, I really know I was wrong. I can feel that I like you, but I just can't express it. Lin Yi, have you let go of the relationship of more than 10 years? No, I don't believe it. You must be angry with me, and you must want to retaliate against me. Crunch. At this time, the Rolls-Royce slowly stopped. Chen Wan walked into the villa. Looking at the light in the villa, Chen Wan knew that her mother was back. She stood outside the villa, adjusted her mood, and wiped the embarrassment on her face. She forced a smile on her face and walked inside. Pushing open the door, a beautiful woman in her 30s or 40s was practicing yoga on a yoga mat in their hall. Seeing Chen Wan coming back, the beautiful woman put away the difficult yoga moves, picked up a towel to wipe the sweat, and looked at Chen Wan. Are you back? I'm back. Chen Wan nodded. Why hasn't Xiaoyi come home these days? I heard that you seem to have a conflict with Xiaoyi. The beautiful woman looked at Chen Wan. Chen Wan's body stiffened, and she forced a smile. No. Okay, don't lie to me, I know everything about your birthday party, and it's hard for mom to say whether you are right or wrong, but to be honest, if there is really a man in this world who really loves you wholeheartedly and wants the best for you, besides your father, there is only Xiaoyi. Sometimes, your dad is not even as good as Xiaoyi. You are already a junior and will graduate soon. You are already an adult. I will not interfere with your affairs. I also fully respect your choices and opinions. But as your mother, I still want to tell you that if you miss Lin Yi, you will never meet such a good boy again. Moreover, Lin Yi is not as bad as you think. In my opinion, you are not as good as him. Hearing the words of the beautiful woman, Chen Wan gritted her teeth and her eyes were full of tears. She did not comment on her mother's words, but she did not agree with her mother's words that she was not as good as Lin Yi. Her grades were so good, always in the top 10 of the grade. And her father was a senior executive of a large company, and her mother was a professor at the Conservatory of Music. And what about Lin Yi? He was just a rural child. If it were not for her family's help, Lin Yi would not even have the opportunity to study in the imperial capital. In school, Lin Yi's study was not good, and it could even be said to be poor. Why did her mother say that such a person was better than herself? The beautiful woman looked at Chen Wan's eyes, and she instantly understood what Chen Wan was saying. She shook her head and said, I have said what I should say, and I have fulfilled my own responsibilities. As for whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. As long as you don't regret it in the future, it's fine. Go to bed early. The beautiful woman left, and Chen Wan stood there for a while, and she went upstairs. Lin Yi, I admit that I am sorry for you, but I will never admit that I am worse than you, and I will never admit that the things I am proud of will be worse than you. Rose Hotel. Oh tilde. Lin Yi lay on the bed, vomiting several times with a broken heart, feeling that his internal organs were about to vomit out, and his eyes were full of tears. He swore that he would never drink again in the future. Drinking is really uncomfortable. Yang Yu took a towel to wipe Lin Yi's mouth, and then changed a towel to wipe Lin Yi's feet, and then Yang Yu stuffed Lin Yi into the quilt. After doing all this, Yang Yu sat in front of Lin Yi's bed, holding up her pretty face with both hands, and blinking at Lin Yi with a pair of big eyes. Big bad guy, I didn't expect you to be so handsome tilde. The next day, Lin Yi was dazed and felt something full in his hand. He subconsciously pinched it. Why is this thing a bit strange? Huh? Walk. He opened his eyes, and when he saw everything clearly in front of him, he woke up suddenly. His voice made the girl in his arms slowly open her eyes, and the two pairs of confused eyes intertwined. Walk. Two exclamations sounded at the same time. Chapter 16, If I choose to be with you, I don't want you to be anyone's substitute. More than 10 minutes later, Lin Yi turned his back to the bed. You are not allowed to turn around and peek. Yang Yu's voice was trembling. Okay, I will never peek. You have to believe in my character. Lin Yi vowed. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Yang Yu thought about someone's hand pinching her dairy farm just now, and her face flushed again. You hooligan, what kind of character do you have? Yang Yu said while putting on the clothes she had taken off at some point. This was a habit she had developed since she was a child, sleeping naked. She felt uncomfortable wearing too much when sleeping, and it also affected her development. Last night, after Lin Yi fell asleep, she leaned against Lin Yi in a daze, and then she got into Lin Yi's quilt at some point, and then she took off all her clothes at some point. Listening to the rustling sound of clothes being put on behind her, Lin Yi couldn't help but recall the feeling of the moment, the softness and smoothness that she had never felt before, especially the feeling of the fingertips groping for the sudden rise of the new force. Lin Yi's face was hot, and there was a dizzy feeling in his mind. Okay. Yang Yu put on her clothes and got out of bed, then walked into the bathroom. Lin Yi didn't hear Yang Yu's words. He stood in the room, constantly recalling the feeling at that moment. This feeling was very strange. It was like having some beautiful dreams when he was a child. He had woken up, but he still wanted to close his eyes and bring himself into the dream, constantly recalling the beauty of the dream. But when the beauty came, there were always some accidents. For example, the zipper couldn't be unzipped, or he couldn't stand up directly. He even unzipped and found that his younger brother had turned into a cucumber. There was even more extreme. He grew hands and feet and unzipped and ran away. He couldn't complete the last step. He put his hand under his nose for some reason and sniffed it gently. It smelled very good. A unique virgin fragrance of a woman mixed with the smell of some kind of laundry detergent. A little intoxicated. At this moment, Lin Yi's eyes suddenly met Yang Yu, who had just walked out of the bathroom. Lin Yi's confused head suddenly cleared up, and he was stunned. Yang Yu was also stunned. Don't get me wrong. I'm a gangster, I'm not a gangster, I didn't do anything, and I don't know why it's like this. Okay, I'm a gangster. Lin Yi spread his hands and didn't argue. Brother is a gangster. Brother just smelled my fingers, and there was still your smell on my fingers. Yang Yu's face was red. She looked at Lin Yi, her face was red as if water was dripping out. The next moment, she turned around and ran out. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and then he reacted and chased after her. His eyes were full of worry. Did his obscene scene just now scare the little girl, and then the little girl wanted to commit suicide? Lin Yi ran out of the hotel and chased after Yang Yu. He grabbed Yang Yu's hand and stopped her. Hey, don't be upset, I will be responsible for you. Yang Yu was stopped by Lin Yi, and the blush climbed from her neck to her face, and her eyes were watery. You are responsible for me. You don't want Chen Wan anymore. Yang Yu looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi shook his head. Didn't I tell you? I have nothing to do with Chen Wan anymore. A glimmer of joy flashed in Yang Yu's eyes, but she still pouted and said in disbelief, who knows whether what you said is true or false? After all, more than 10 years of love, how can you just throw it away? Maybe you just said today that you won't reconcile, and you quarreled, and tomorrow Chen Wan gives you a little sweetness, and you run back happily. Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu. You don't understand. Girls say break up. The girl may be trying to prove her love and got carried away, or she may want to threaten the boy to give in by breaking up, or even worse, she may listen to her bestie's so-called test. Love like this is not uncommon in life. Girls often say they can't break up no matter how many times they say it. But if a boy says he wants to break up, it means that he has no hope and there is no possibility of redemption. What's more, Chen Wan and I don't have any romantic relationship. It has always been my one-sided contribution. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Yang Yu's mouth corners slightly lifted, revealing 2 small tiger teeth. I hope you keep your word. So, what is our relationship now? Yang Yu looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu. Still friends. Yang Yu. So, you were lying to me just now, right? Yang Yu's face was like a Peking opera face changing. She was still smiling just now, but the next moment it turned cloudy and tears began to swirl in her eyes. Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu, his face full of solemnity and seriousness. Yang Yu, do you know? Yesterday, my Rong Hong told me something. He said that the best way to forget someone is to find another person to replace him. I had this idea last night, and even agreed to go to your college with Rong Hong. But when I woke up this morning, I felt that this was unfair to you. Yang Yu, if I choose to be with you, I don't want you to be a substitute for anyone. I just hope you are yourself. If I like you, it's because I like you, Yang Yu, your face, your temper, your rice, figure, instead of treating you as a substitute for someone. I admit that I really can't completely forget Chen Wan for a while. After all, the relationship of more than 10 years can't be said to be gone, so before that, I can only be friends with you, otherwise there is another woman living in my heart and being with you, which is unfair to you. Yang Yu heard Lin Yi's words, and her tears finally stopped flowing. Is everything you said true? It's all true. I promise. Lin Yi nodded. I believe you. Yang Yu nodded without hesitation. Seeing Yang Yu say that she believed in herself without hesitation, Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and his heart was deeply touched. Yang Yu! Lin Yi shouted. I promise to forget Chen Wan soon, and then fall in love with you. Lin Yi's face was full of seriousness. Poochie, Lin Yi, do you know that you look like a scumbag when you say such things now? Yang Yu couldn't help but laughed. Really? As long as you know that I'm not a scumbag. Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi, Yang Yu suddenly shouted. Can you fall in love with me sooner? After all, I have been waiting for you for a long, long time. Yang Yu looked up at Lin Yi, and Lin Yi looked straight into Yang Yu's eyes. The two were so close that they could even see each other through each other's pupils. Suddenly, he was stunned. He saw a light in Yang Yu's eyes. He was very familiar with this light. Wasn't it the light that filled his eyes when he was obsessed with Chen Wan before? Yang Yu liked me? Or, did Yang Yu also like me for many years? Chapter 17, Sister Chen Wan, please don't misunderstand Tilda. Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu, and Yang Yu's big eyes also looked at him, her long eyelashes fluttering, her eyes flashing with light, and a little silly and cute feeling. She was a little nervous when she looked at Lin Yi. The corners of her mouth rose again, revealing her cute little tiger teeth. Lin Yi was getting closer and closer to him, and her hands tightly grasped the corners of her clothes, and her eyes slowly widened. There was excitement, fear, and a little bit of helplessness. Lin Yi, didn't we agree to be friends now? Isn't playing soccer something friends can do? But Lin Yi looked so affectionate and handsome. How about giving him a kiss first? Give him benefits in advance. Anyway, I've slept with him naked today, do you still care about a kiss? But what should you do first when kissing? Close your eyes. Oh, yes, close your eyes. Yang Yu closed her eyes in a flash. Step 2. Pout. Step 3, tiptoe. Yang Yu pouted her lips, then tiptoed gently, quietly waiting for a romantic kiss like in a Korean drama. But she pouted her lips and waited for a kiss from Lin Yi, and her feet were sore from tiptoeing. Lin Go, what are you doing? Yang Yu opened her eyes slightly, and her eyes widened instantly. She saw Lin Yi standing in the distance taking a photo of himself with his mobile phone, and many elderly people who got up early to exercise around him frequently cast their gazes at him. Yang Yu felt her face getting hot instantly, and she bared her teeth and claws like an angry little lion. Lin Go, you are playing with me. I'm not done with you. Yang Yu rushed towards Lin Yi, baring her teeth viciously, and her cute little tiger teeth showed that she wanted to bite Lin Yi. Lin Yi turned around and ran. Ouch! At this moment, a scream came from behind. Lin Yi stopped immediately, and he turned his head to see Yang Yu squatting on the ground, holding her ankle and crying, ouch ouch, her cute face almost wrinkled into a ball. Lin Yi ran over quickly, his face full of concern. Little Blackie, are you okay? Is this foot sprained? Let me see. Lin Yi squatted down and stretched out his hand to carefully check Yang Yu's ankle. A cunning flashed in Yang Yu's eyes, and she opened her mouth and bit Lin Yi's shoulder. Hiss! Lin Yi took a breath of cold air. Little Blackie, you are a dog, you really bite. Let go, let go. Lin Yi's face was full of pain, and he stretched out his hand to push Yang Yu's face. Yang Yu chewed left and right, and then let go of his mouth. Lin Yi pulled his clothes open and took a look, and there was a row of teeth marks on his shoulder under his suit. HMPH, I told you not to offend this girl. This is a small lesson for you. Yang Yu raised her head proudly, like a hen that won a fight. Although Lin Yi kept crying in pain, the corners of his mouth rose unconsciously. He liked this way of getting along with Yang Yu very much, and it was very comfortable. Let's go. To celebrate our friendship, I'll treat you to breakfast. I know a very good breakfast restaurant. Yang Yu reached out and held Lin Yi's shoulder, but because of her height, it was as if she was hanging one hand on Lin Yi's body. Lin Yi could only bend his waist slightly and walk with his body bent. Soon, Yang Yu took Lin Yi to a breakfast shop, Xingyuan Restaurant. Lin Yi was a little surprised to see this familiar name. Is this the good breakfast restaurant you mentioned? Lin Yi turned to look at Yang Yu. Yang Yu blushed. Yeah. Are you following me? I'm not, I just saw you often get up early and come here, and would rather ride a bicycle for several kilometers to come to this breakfast restaurant, so I also thought that this breakfast restaurant might be delicious. Yang Yu explained. Hearing Yang Yu's words, Lin Yi nodded. Actually, I don't know if this restaurant is delicious. Really? Then every day. Yang Yu stopped talking halfway. Let's go in. But it's past 8 o'clock now, it's very likely that we can't have breakfast, their breakfast is limited. Lin Yi didn't hesitate before, and took Yang Yu in. As soon as he entered the restaurant, there was a long line inside, about a dozen people. However, not long after the two entered the restaurant, the shop owner came out with an apologetic look on his face. Sorry, breakfast is sold out, everyone please go away, come early tomorrow. Hearing the boss's voice, the people in line did not complain and dispersed directly. It's really gone. Yang Yu said with a bitter face. And at this moment, two familiar figures turned around and walked out, and saw Lin Yi and Yang Yu at a glance. When she saw Lin Yi and Yang Yu, Chen Wan's figure froze suddenly, her eyes were fixed on Yang Yu and Lin Yi, her eyes were full of disbelief and sadness. At this time, Lin Yi and Yang Yu were also looking at Chen Wan and Bai Ou. Bai Ou exclaimed inwardly that it was bad. According to Chen Wan's temper, Chen Wan might lose her temper at this time, and then walk up to question Lin Yi, right? But to Bai Ou's surprise, Chen Wan went up directly. Lin Yi, good morning. Chen Wan looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, feeling that his three views were shocked. When did our proud princess take the initiative to greet him? But out of politeness, he still replied, good morning. Chen Wan looked at Lin Yi, and then at Yang Yu beside Lin Yi. She gritted her teeth and plucked up the courage to speak. How do you know I'm here? Did you bring this little girl here to deliberately anger me? As soon as Chen Wan's words fell, Lin Yi immediately exclaimed that this was the feeling. Chen Wan, you haven't changed. Why do you always have to be centered on yourself, and always think that everything others do is because of you? But Chen Wan, thank you for doing this, because every time you do this, my feelings for you will fade a little, and soon, I can completely forget you. Lin Yi was silent. Because he really didn't want to talk to such a self-righteous person, because when talking to such a person, you will never win, and you can only get a lot of anger forever. Seeing Lin Yi silent, Chen Wan thought that Lin Yi acquiesced, and her eyes became even more sad. So Lin Yi, how can you be so excessive? Do you have to make me embarrassed in front of you? Do you have to retaliate against me severely to make you feel comfortable? Chen Wan felt very uncomfortable and wronged. Sister Chen Wan, please don't misunderstand. Our Lin Yi didn't bring me here to deliberately anger you. It's just that brother Lin Yi was drinking all night last night. He didn't eat anything when he returned to their hotel. He was tired all night. I heard that brother Lin Yi used to ride several kilometers to this breakfast shop every morning to buy breakfast, so I also want to try the breakfast of this breakfast shop tilde. It's a pity tilde, it's out of stock tilde, Yang Yu said, and reached out to hold Lin Yi's arm. Lin Yi didn't dodge and let Yang Yu hold him. Hearing Yang Yu's words, Chen Wan froze and looked at Lin Yi and Yang Yu in disbelief. She was about to collapse. Lin Yi, you last night. Oh, Sister Chen Wan, don't misunderstand. Although we were in the same hotel, in the same room, and even slept in the same bed last night, we didn't do anything. Yang Yu looked flustered, with a sly look in her eyes. Chapter 18, it turns out that she really treated me like a dog. Hearing Yang Yu's explanation, Chen Wan's body trembled, her eyes instantly filled with tears, and she looked at Lin Yi with pain and disappointment in her eyes. Lin Yi, how could you do this? You've only been away from me for less than 2 days. You're too much. Chen Wan felt that she had never felt so uncomfortable before. She was Chen Wan. From childhood to adulthood, no matter where she was always the center of attention and the focus of the crowd. But today, Lin Yi made her so sad. How could Lin Yi do that? How dare he? Strictly speaking, she was his fiancée. Their fathers had already verbally made an engagement when they were young. Could it be that Lin Yi could go back on his word? I'm too much. Looking at Chen Wan, who cried as soon as she said she would, Lin Yi was directly angered and laughed. So Miss Chen Wan, you rejected me when I confessed to you. I have liked you for more than 10 years, but you threw my face on the ground in front of so many people and stepped on it hard. Then I was desperate. After I gave up, couldn't I find someone else? It would be too much for me to find someone else. So you can reject me, but I can't leave you. I must always stay by your side as a licking dog. When you are happy, you give me 2 bones. When you are unhappy, you humiliate me to make you happy, right? Chen Wan, I am a person with personality, not a dog you raise, do you understand? At this moment, Lin Yi's heart was even more annoyed with Chen Wan. When the fairy tale halo was torn by Chen Wan herself, he felt more and more that every word and even every action of Chen Wan was so annoying, so high and so selfish. However, he finally understood a truth. At the beginning, he liked Chen Wan for more than 10 years and licked Chen Wan for more than 10 years. Chen Wan not only did not have any gratitude, but looked at him with annoyance in her eyes. Actually, it's not that he did a bad job, nor that Chen Wan deliberately targeted him. It's just that when you don't like someone, everything he does and every word he says will annoy you from your perspective, and even just standing there and appearing in your sight will make you inexplicably annoyed. Now he understands, because this is how he feels about Chen Wan now. When he and Rome Hong walked out of the bar yesterday, he already knew that he and Chen Wan were over. Yes, he and Chen Wan had never started, but he unilaterally announced that they were over. From then on, she was his eldest daughter and he was his rural child. They were not in the same world, so why force it? Hearing Lin Yi's words and looking at Lin Yi's face with annoyance, Chen Wan's heart ached fiercely. This was the first time she saw this annoyed expression on Lin Yi's face. She never thought that Lin Yi would show this expression to her, although she always did this to Lin Yi before. But this is different. She is a girl and Lin Yi is a boy. Chen Wan panicked. She obviously didn't feel that way at first. She didn't want to blame Lin Yi. God knows how happy she was to meet Lin Yi in this breakfast restaurant. But when she saw the girl next to Lin Yi, her heart panicked and she couldn't express her feelings. She obviously just wanted Lin Yi to care about her feelings and express her care for Lin Yi. If she didn't care about Lin Yi, why would she react? But when the words came to her lips, they changed when they were spoken, and became something she didn't even know. Lin Yi, no, it's not like that. I never treated you as a dog. I always treated you. Chen Wan felt very aggrieved. She wanted to explain, but suddenly she didn't know how to explain. Yes, what did she treat Lin Yi as all these years? Looking at Chen Wan's speechless look, Lin Yi's heart was clenched. Damn it. Did you really treat me as a dog? Fuck. Lin Yi felt a little uncomfortable. After all, he had spent more than 10 years of youth and love, but in the end, he was treated as a dog by others. Damn it, which dog is as obedient as him? Which dog is as considerate and caring as him? Bar. I am not a dog. Lin Yi turned his head to look at Yang Yu, who was like a little bird beside him, and then looked at Chen Wan, who was still arrogant even though she seemed to be pretending to apologize. He chose Yang Yu without hesitation. High and mighty. Arrogant like a princess. Aloof and cool. Bullshit. In front of a little cow, being cool is not worth mentioning. Bai Ou, who was standing by, looked at Chen Wan, who wanted to explain but was speechless. She was anxious for Chen Wan. How could she fail at this critical moment? Any adjective you say, such as brother, younger brother, relative, good friend, lover or even sex partner, is better than a dog. Chen Wan, you are usually quite smart, and you are obviously in the top 10 of your grade, but why can't you even say a word of explanation now? Looking at the speechless Chen Wan, Lin Yi smiled, with a smile that was somewhat sarcastic and somewhat sad. So Chen Wan, when you want to question me with a sense of right? No, she can't control it. But, Lin Yi, didn't you always want my care before? Why do you look impatient when I do this? I have done this, I have been so humble, what else do you want from me? Chapter 19, Men have long legs, women have long legs. Chen Wan shed tears again out of grievance, but Lin Yi felt relieved. Chen Wan was speechless again. Seeing Chen Wan was speechless again, Lin Yi lost interest immediately. He turned to look at Yang Yu. Yang Yu, let's go. Okay. Yang Yu let go of Lin Yi's arm, glanced at Chen Wan, and then followed behind Lin Yi. Wait. At this time, another shout sounded. Lin Yi stopped again. He turned around and saw a middle-aged man in a chef's uniform running out with a breakfast in his hand. Xiao Yi, I know you will definitely come. I specially saved one for you. Uncle Huang, are you so sure that I will come? Lin Yi smiled. Of course, from freshman to now, 3 years, a full 3 years, when have you, Lin Yi, ever been absent? The middle-aged boss smiled. Hey, Xiao Wan, you're here too. You came here with Xiao Yi today. Could it be that you two finally got married? That's perfect. I'll give it to you. The middle-aged boss stuffed the breakfast into Chen Wan's hand. Chen Wan looked at the breakfast in her hand, and her uncomfortable heart finally felt better. Yes. Lin Yi has liked her for more than 10 years. He never missed her breakfast for 3 years in college. How could Lin Yi just let her go? Lin Yi must have done this to piss me off. He must care about me. A faint smile appeared on the corner of Chen Wan's mouth, and at this moment, a figure stepped forward, snatched the breakfast from Chen Wan's hand, and then turned around and stuffed it into Yang Yu's hand. The smile on Chen Wan's face froze instantly, and the middle-aged boss was also stunned with his mouth wide open. I'm sorry, Uncle Huang. I did come here to buy breakfast for my girlfriend today, but Yang Yu is my girlfriend. When the breakfast shop owner heard Lin Yi's words, he immediately knew that he had made a mistake. I'm sorry, Xiao Yi and Xiao Wan. Lin Yi has liked you for 3 years, I thought this. It's okay, Uncle Huang, you go ahead, I'll leave first. Okay, Xiao Yi, come again later. Lin Yi nodded, then turned around and pulled Yin Yu out. After a while, a crying voice sounded, Lin Yi, you bastard. You are a big bastard. Hearing this crying voice, Lin Yi felt refreshed. It turned out that making Chen Wan sad and angry was really refreshing. If I grab her hair and slap her a few times, wouldn't it be refreshing? God knows how refreshing it would be to give that high-ranking princess a few big slaps. Lin Yi had a smile on his face. He and Yin Yu were walking on the road. When he turned around, Lin Yi saw Yin Yu with a mouth full of food, bulging cheeks, and moving with chewing. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment. Oh my god. Can a girl's mouth be stuffed so tightly? And she is so cute as a greedy little squirrel. Compared with Chen Wan's always elegant appearance, Yang Yu's movements were too casual, but for some reason, Lin Yi felt that Yang Yu was indeed hundreds of times more beautiful and pleasing to the eye than Chen Wan. He definitely did not come to this conclusion because of Yang Yu's pair of big bears that shook as she walked, but rather the most objective evaluation, without a trace of personal subjective thoughts. What are you looking at? Yang Yu bit off a corner of a bun, and the soup inside flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Yang Yu stretched out her pink little tongue and licked it gently, and the corner of her mouth immediately became clean. Hiss! For some reason, Lin Yi felt a little agitated for a moment, and couldn't help but take a breath of cold air in his heart. This beauty! I'm looking at your buns. I'll give you a bite. Really? Lin Yi was stunned. They are not friends now. Can friends do such pure things? Of course. Yang Yu nodded, and then handed the bun with a bite to Lin Yi's mouth. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, a little disappointed. Are you talking about this bun? Yang Yu was stunned for a moment, with a pair of big eyes full of doubts. Are you not talking about this? Oh, yes. Then you should have it, my hands are sore. Yang Yu raised the bun high. Lin Yi looked at the bun with a big bite. Oh my god. You hesitated. Do you dislike me? Yang Yu saw that Lin Yi didn't open his mouth, and his eyes widened immediately. I didn't. Then you eat it. Okay. Lin Yi opened his mouth, thinking that he would suffer a little loss. In this day and age, suffering a loss is a blessing. Who knew that just after Lin Yi opened his mouth, Yang Yu suddenly stuffed the bun she had bitten off a corner of into Lin Yi's mouth, and even because of too much force, it hit Lin Yi's throat. Oh! Lin Yi couldn't help but dry heave, tears came out. After doing all this, Yang Yu quickly stepped forward and fled. Yang Yu! Lin Yi gritted his teeth. Lululu, who made you look like you disliked me just now? Humph! Yang Yu made a face. Don't run! Lin Yi chased after him with gritted teeth. Oh my god! Lin Dog is going to bite people. Yang Yu was pale and turned around to run away, but before she ran a few steps, a hand directly grabbed her neck. Lin Yi directly clamped Yang Yu under his armpits, and slightly pressed the weight of his body on Yang Yu. Yang Yu was immediately bent over by the pressure. Lin go, I was wrong, stop pressing, it will break if you press it again. Yang Yu immediately begged for mercy with a bitter face. Do you know you are wrong? I am not wrong. Yang Yu instantly became tough. Huh. Lin Yi increased his strength. Yang Yu immediately exclaimed, it's broken. Lin Yi. The two of them went to school playing and fighting all their way. You have her perfume on you, it's my nose that's guilty tilde. Just when Lin Yi and Yang Yu were about to reach Lin Yi's school, the phone rang suddenly. Lin Yi took out his phone, it was Young Wing's call. Hello. Lin Yi pressed the answer button. Lin Yi, where are you? Young Wing's voice came from the phone. For some reason, Lin Yi felt that Young Wing's words seemed to have a hint of resentment. We just finished breakfast and are almost at the school gate. Lin Yi answered honestly. The other end of the phone fell into silence. After a few seconds, Young Wing's resentful voice sounded, So, have you completely forgotten me? You are a guy who values women over friendship. Damn, I'm still in the hotel. Lin Yi. Lin Yi's old face turned red, and he felt that he had gone too far. We'll wait for you at the school gate, come quickly. Wait. Young Wing said and hung up the phone. Lin Yi and Yang Yu found a bench in the park at the school gate and sat down to wait for Young Wing. The two leaned on the chairs. Lin Yi lay down like Geu, looking at the blue sky, feeling extremely relaxed. Yang Yu glanced at Lin Yi, couldn't help showing her little tiger teeth, and smiled. A pair of white legs swayed gently. A few minutes later, Yang Yu looked at Lin Yi, I'm so bored tilde. Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu, then let's play some brain teasers. Okay. Guess what I say? Okay. Men have long legs, guess a pastry. Lin Yi smiled evilly. Yang Yu frowned and thought for several minutes. She shook her head in distress, I can't guess, tell me the answer quickly. Egg cake. Lin Yi told Yang Yu the answer. Yang Yu was stunned for a moment, and her face turned red. You are a hooligan. Bar. Next, don't ask such a hooligan. Women have long legs, guess a feminine product. Yang Yu frowned again. Oh, I still can't guess, just tell me the answer. Lipstick. Lin Yi spit out two words with a sly smile. Lin Yi. Yang Yu blushed, turned over and sat on Lin Yi's legs, stretched out her hands and grabbed Lin Yi's ears. Chapter 20, I'm uncomfortable, now, are you satisfied? The two were playing. Yang Yu stretched out her hand to pull Lin Yi's ears, and Lin Yi stretched out his hand to grab Yang Yu's hand. In an instant, Yang Yu's hand lost its support and the whole person fell forward. The distance between the two was instantly shortened, and even the noses were touching each other, and the breathing of the two became rapid. Lin Yi was close to Yang Yu, whose skin was as delicate as mutton fat jade. Lin Yi could even see Yang Yu's pores. On a pair of big eyes like black gemstones, the slender black eyelashes trembled slightly because of nervousness. Inside the slightly opened little mouth, the red sexy little tongue was very tempting. Lin Yi opened his mouth and bit it, and held Yang Yu's little mouth with his mouth, moist, warm, and even a little sweet. The moment Lin Yi kissed her, Yang Yu's body trembled, her mind buzzed, and then her mind went blank. Beep. Just then, a car horn sounded, and Yang Yu instantly climbed down from Lin Yi like a frightened mouse. Lin Yi smacked his lips, savoring the taste, and turned his head to see Young Wing's Porsche parked on the side of the park road. Young Wing stuck his head out of the window and winked at Lin Yi with a lewd look on his face. Lin Yi rolled his eyes. Damn, old dog roam. You're interrupting my good thing. Lin Yi took Yang Yu to the front of the car, opened the door and sat in. How was your rest last night? Young Wing started the engine and turned to look at Lin Yi and Yang Yu in a lewd way. Yang Yu's fair face flushed instantly, and then she lowered her head. Lin Yi raised his mouth slightly. Not bad. Seeing that Lin Yi was in good condition, Young Wing's smile became even brighter. The car drove into the school. Lin Yi and Young Wing talked and laughed, and Yang Yu sat gently beside Lin Yi, quietly listening to the two chatting and gossiping. Suddenly, Lin Yi turned to look at Yang Yu. Yang Yu, why did you transfer to another school in junior high school? Hearing Lin Yi's words, Yang Yu hesitated for a moment, and then replied, there were some problems in my family at the beginning, so my family couldn't afford my tuition in the aristocratic school, and then I had to transfer to an ordinary middle school. But I went back to see you later. Really? But why don't I have any memory? Lin Yi was stunned for a moment. Because when I went back to see you, you were always following Chen Wan's ass, so I just looked at you silently and left. Yang Yu looked at Lin Yi with resentment. Lin Yi, okay, it's my fault. No, you're not wrong, and no matter what happened in the past, isn't it still me sitting next to you now? In fact, I think I'm quite lucky. Yang Yu had a faint smile on her face, and she turned her head to look out the window. In fact, if Young Wing hadn't suddenly told her yesterday that there was a party and Lin Yi would go to this party, she and Lin Yi would probably have no intersection, because she had already decided to apply for studying abroad next semester. If she went abroad, she and Lin Yi would have no chance. Lin Yi glanced at Yang Yu, and then didn't say anything. Yang Wing drove the car downstairs of the girls' dormitory, and the flashy red Porsche instantly attracted countless people's attention. And at this time, Lin Yi got out of the car, and then Yang Yu. Then I'll go back first. Well, go back. Lin Yi habitually reached out and touched Yang Yu's head. Yang Yu squinted slightly, enjoying Lin Yi's touch like a kitten. Many girls upstairs saw this scene and were immediately surprised. Isn't that boy Lin Yi? When did he fall in love with someone else? Yeah, hasn't he always liked Chen Wan? TSK, I thought he was so affectionate, and he was even known as the most affectionate and licking dog king in the music college, but it turns out that's it. Chen Wan rejected him just 2 days ago, and he turned around and hooked up with another girl. Sister, are you still living in the Qing dynasty? You still believe that boys can be affectionate? Who is that girl? She even ate the leftovers that Chen Wan didn't eat. How shameless. It seems to be a major in musical instrument performance. Her name is Yang Yu. She has been picked up by a luxury car shortly after entering the university. She must be kept by someone. Oh, how shameless. Some girls looked at Lin Yi and Yang Yu with disgust and malice in their eyes, but most of the girls didn't care about it and turned a blind eye. Several girls who knew Chen Wan took out their mobile phones and took 2 photos, and then sent them to Chen Wan. Chen Wan, look, Lin Yi has betrayed you. He is flirting with a girl from the performance major downstairs of dormitory A7. Come and catch the mistress. Chen Wan, who was absent-mindedly attending the Guzheng class, felt her phone vibrate. She immediately took out her phone, thinking it was a message from Lin Yi, but she was soon disappointed. This was a photo sent by a sister she knew. In the photo, a man and a woman stood at the back of the dormitory. The two stood very close. The man lowered his head slightly, with a gentle smile on his face, and his hand was still gently rubbing the girl's head. The girl looked up at the boy quietly, squinting like a kitten, well-behaved and cute. If you throw away the tinted glasses, in fact, it is not an exaggeration to describe the two as a golden boy and a jade girl. The word matched flashed through Chen Wan's mind. But the more this happened, the more uncomfortable she felt. Lin Yi had never smiled so gently to her before, but now he smiled so gently and acted so ambiguously to a girl he had just met for less than a day. Lin Yi, when have you been so generous to others? Chen Wan turned off her phone. She tried her best to control her emotions, but her tears fell on the table drop by drop, making a clacking sound. Bai Ou found Chen Wan crying and immediately became nervous. He asked in a low voice, Chen Wan, what's wrong with you? I'm fine. Chen Wan raised her hand to wipe away her tears, but her fist was clenched tightly, and her nails were deeply embedded in her palm. Sadness, loss, grievance, and pain. Lin Yi. I feel bad, I feel so bad in my heart that I can't breathe. Now, are you satisfied? Are you happy? Aren't you doing all this to take revenge on me? Right? Yes. Har har. Chen Wan smiled, but she smiled miserably and her face was pale. Seeing that Chen Wan was not in a good condition, Bai Ou asked for leave for the next class for himself and Chen Wan as soon as the class was over, and took Chen Wan back to the dormitory. Chen Wan sat on her bed, hugged her legs with both hands, and looked out the window quietly without saying a word. This class was a core course for the music major, and Lin Yi did not ask for leave again. When he arrived at the classroom, Lin Yi dozed off on the table before the teacher came. Because this class was for music majors, Young Wing and others did not come either, and Lin Yi was bored. He used to be very happy to be in the same classroom with Chen Wan, but now he was really not happy anymore, and he was actually a little bored. Soon, more and more students came. Ding-ling-ling. The class bell rang, and soon the teacher came. The teacher took out the roll call list and called out the students' names one by one. Chen Wan. The teacher called out Chen Wan's name. Teacher, Chen Wan is sick and asked for leave. This is her note. A girl stood up and walked to the podium and handed the note to the teacher, who nodded. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and then he showed a sarcastic smile. Chen Wan, the proud princess, can't you stand it just now? Chapter 21, Chen Wan is on a hunger strike, do you really not care? Soon, the morning class ended and Lin Yi walked out of the classroom. Buzz. Suddenly, the phone vibrated. Lin Yi took out his phone. It was a message from Yang Yu, come to the cafeteria, I have prepared food for you tilde. Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, and then went to the cafeteria. When Lin Yi arrived, there was a long queue at each window of the cafeteria. Lin dog tilde. Yang Yu stood up and waved at Lin Yi. Lin Yi walked over immediately. Hurry up and sit down, eat tilde. Yang Yu took the school bag from Lin Yi's hand. Lin Yi sat down, and there were 2 plates on the table. Lin Yi looked at the plates on the table, and he was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that one day someone would prepare food for him, and it was hot food from the cafeteria. What's wrong? Don't you like the food I serve you? Yang Yu looked at the stunned Lin Yi, tilted her head, and asked. No, I like it. Lin Yi came back to his senses and nodded quickly. If you like it, eat it quickly. After eating, let's go to the playground for a walk and digest the food tilde. Yang Yu smiled with satisfaction, and her little tiger teeth were extremely cute. Don't you want to eat? Lin Yi looked at Yang Yu. I'm full tilde. Yang Yu patted her belly, and Lin Yi took a look. It was round and bulging. It seemed that this girl had eaten a lot. But being able to eat is a blessing, isn't it? This girl is so beautiful, even if she is a little fat, she will still look good. Lin Yi lowered his head and ate with relish. Yang Yu put his hands on the table to support his chin, and stared at Lin Yi with his big eyes. At this time, in the girls' dormitory, Bai Ou was full of worry. My eldest lady, even if you feel uncomfortable, you should eat something, right? No. Chen Wan's face was still pale, without a trace of blood. She looked out the window quietly. Lin Yi, you succeeded in revenge on me, and made me feel heartbroken. But I really don't believe that the feelings of more than 10 years can be gone just because you say so. If something happens to me, will you feel guilty? If I can make you feel guilty, or even make you shed tears for me, even in front of my grave, you should be very happy, right? Chen Wan finally showed a miserable smile. She really knew she was wrong, but why didn't Lin Yi give her a chance? He didn't even give her a chance to make amends. She rejected him, so he turned around and found another girl, and treated the other girl so well. Why? Why? Why should I, Chen Wan, bear the unforgettable pain, while other girls accept your gentleness and thoughtfulness? Chen Wan. I beg you, eat something, or you'll have a stomachache again. You had a headache. It's best if it hurts like hell. In this case, Lin Yi will feel even more guilty, right? Chen Wan actually forced a smile, but this smile looked so sad. Chen Wan, didn't you like eating in the first canteen before? Let's go quickly, otherwise we won't be able to queue up later. Also, Lin Yi may be eating there, maybe we can meet him. You persuaded again. Hearing Yu's words, Chen Wan was stunned for a moment. Can she see Lin Yi? She was silent for a moment, then said, let's go. Chen Wan finally gave in, which made Yu breathe a sigh of relief. The two packed up and headed for the first canteen. But after arriving at the first canteen, they immediately had a headache because the windows of the first canteen were full of queues. Yu rubbed her head with a headache, but when she accidentally saw the two people at the familiar table in the cafeteria, her face changed slightly and she turned around quickly. Chen Wan, there are too many people here, let's go to another cafeteria. Chen Wan frowned slightly, but the food here is the best. And Lin Yi always reserved a seat for me here before. He knows what dishes I like best and how much I can eat. Oh, let's go. Yu pulled Chen Wan over, and Yu's strangeness quickly aroused Chen Wan's suspicion. She looked at Yu in confusion, and saw the strangeness in Yu's eyes. She subconsciously turned her head to look at the table area, and then her body suddenly froze. The next moment, Chen Wan turned around and left the cafeteria. Just after walking out of the cafeteria, tears could no longer be stopped and flowed down. Her body trembled slightly. She really couldn't stand Lin Yi getting close to other women in front of her. Not even for a moment. Chen Wan's heart was broken, but she didn't expect that when she had her birthday party, Lin Yi mustered up the courage to invite her to dance the first dance, but she humiliated Lin Yi severely, and then threw herself into someone else's arms and danced with him under the stars. She didn't think about Lin Yi's feelings, and even felt that she did this for Lin Yi's good, so that Lin Yi could see the reality clearly. She walked on the road, watching students walking in groups of 3 or 2, and also saw couples holding hands passing by. She walked on the road in a daze like a soulless body, without a destination, without any hope. She lowered her head and felt tears sliding down her face. She didn't dare to look up, because her crying appearance now was very annoying and embarrassing, right? Chen Wan. Yu immediately chased out. On the other side, Lin Yi looked up at the two backs leaving one after the other, and he had no expression on his face. When Yu and Chen Wan appeared in the cafeteria, he had already noticed them. After all, this was a habit he had developed over the past 3 years, and it was difficult to change it in a short time. So he witnessed the whole scene, and when Yu discovered him, he quickly pulled Chen Wan to leave. He also saw the pain and struggle on Chen Wan's face when she discovered him and Yang Yu. So, Chen Wan, will you be sad too? It's so funny. It was you who said you were annoyed with me and that you would live better without me, but why couldn't you do it? Don't you hate me? Why would you be sad when you see me eating with a girl? So, if you are sad, can you look at me more in the future? Soon, Lin Yi finished his meal, and Yang Yu took out a pack of tissues from the bag he was carrying, and then took out one and handed it to Lin Yi. After the meal, Lin Yi and Yang Yu walked to the playground. There were few people on the playground at noon. The two walked slowly on the plastic track. The breeze blew from afar, blowing their hair and clothes. Ding! Just at this moment, Lin Yi's mobile phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was a message from Yu. Lin Yi, Chen Wan is on a hunger strike. Do you really ignore Chen Wan? Anyway, for the sake of our past friendship, please help Chen Wan. Chapter 22, Chen Wan, from today on, I will buy breakfast for Lin Yi. I'm sorry, Yu, Chen Wan and I don't seem to have any friendship. Lin Yi refused without hesitation. What a joke. It was Chen Wan who had been taking his efforts lightly all these years. It was Chen Wan who did not hesitate to humiliate him in front of so many people for her own sake. It was also Chen Wan who said that she would be better off without her. Then he just listened to her obediently and stayed away from her. What happened next? What about the promise of better things? Hunger strike. Can you stop being childish, Chen Wan? From that night on, you have nothing to do with me anymore. Seeing Lin Yi's ruthless rejection on the phone, Bai Ouyou was subconsciously a little angry, but she soon lost her temper. If she were Lin Yi, she would probably laugh now. Not only would she not add insult to injury, but how could she help Chen Wan? Don't advise others to be kind without experiencing their suffering. Bai Ouyou looked at Chen Wan, who was pale and was helpless. But as Chen Wan's best friend, anyone could give up on her, except Bai Ouyou. Finally, Bai Ouyou could only look at Chen Wan with disgust. Chen Wan. Lin Yi is right, you are indeed an extremely selfish person. Hearing Bai Ouyou mention the word Lin Yi, Chen Wan's eyes finally moved, and she turned to look at Bai Ouyou. Chen Wan, do you really think you are not selfish? Uncle Chen and Aunt Chen have worked hard to raise you for more than 10 years, and you are the only child in the family. It can be said that from childhood to adulthood, they have been fighting for you, and everything they have done is for you. Even at the beginning, Uncle Chen and Aunt Chen were afraid that the second child would affect their love for you, so they resolutely did not have a second child and poured all their love on you. But now, just a little frustration, for some so-called feelings, you refuse to eat or drink, go on a hunger strike, and use your life to earn the so-called guilt of Lin Yi, without considering Uncle Chen and Aunt Chen at all. And it was you, Chen Wan, who rejected Lin Yi first, and it was you who made him treat you badly. Unreserved love is thrown into the trash can. It was you who said that you would be better without him, so why are you so crazy to make him feel guilty? Why should he feel guilty? If you regret it, if you still like him, then you should take action to get him back, instead of putting the blame on him again and again, and trying to make him feel guilty again and again in various ways, and then let him take the initiative to come back to you. This will only make people feel that you are more selfish. Chen Wan, Bai Ouyou, really misjudged you. I actually made friends with a selfish person like you. Bai Ouyou was filled with indignation. Chen Wan felt extremely guilty in her heart, and tears flowed down her beautiful face. Eat, I eat. Chen Wan's hoarse voice finally sounded. Bai Ouyou finally breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Chen Wan's words, and then handed the porridge that had been prepared to Chen Wan. Chen Wan held the porridge, and for the first time did not use a spoon, but wolfed it down in big mouthfuls, with big drops of tears flowing in the bowl. There is guilt towards my parents, and there is also regret for the mistakes I have made. Yes. Lin Yi, I lost you with my own hands, so I want to find you back with my own hands. Chen Wan finally cheered up. The next day, when the sky was just getting light, Bai Ouyou heard the sound of Lin Yuren putting on clothes in a daze. Bai Ouyou tried to open a crack, only to see Chen Wan rustling in her clothes on the bed opposite. Bai Ouyou's eyes widened instantly. Oh my god, Chen Wan, it's only 6:40. What are you getting up for? I'm going to buy breakfast. Chen Wan replied, then got dressed, got out of bed, washed and brushed her teeth. So you're hungry? Bai Ouyou suddenly realized. Bai Ouyou also got up and dressed quickly. After wiping his face with a towel, he immediately followed Chen Wan out the door. It was already November, and it was still a little cold in the morning. Bai Ouyou tightened his clothes and looked at Chen Wan. There are several breakfast restaurants with good breakfast outside the school. Let's go there to eat. Chen Wan shook her head. No, let's go to the restaurant we had yesterday. Bai Ouyou was stunned for a moment, thinking that Chen Wan might want to recall how good Lin Yi was to her. Then I'll take a taxi. Bai Ouyou took out her mobile phone and prepared to take a taxi on her mobile phone. No, I'll go by bike. Chen Wan shook her head and walked to the shared bicycle parking area on the side. Bai Ouyou's eyes widened instantly, in disbelief. My eldest lady, that's 5 or 6 kilometers round trip. It may take an hour to ride this broken bike. So what? Lin Yi has persisted for almost 3 years, can't I do the same? Bai Ouyou, this is my own debt to Lin Yi, I'll pay it back myself, it has nothing to do with you, go back. Don't force yourself to go with me. Chen Wan didn't care at all, and had already taken out her mobile phone to sweep away a bicycle. Look at what you said, we are good sisters. What do you mean it has nothing to do with me? Besides, I also ate the breakfast that Lin Yi bought. I'll go with you. Yu gritted his teeth, then untied a bicycle and started riding towards the breakfast room with Chen Wan. The first few minutes were fine, but after 10 minutes, both of them were getting slower and slower, and they felt that their legs were as heavy as lead. Huh! I can't do it anymore, Chen Wan, I need to rest. After the two climbed a continuous gentle slope of more than 1,000 meters, Yu stopped directly, threw their bicycle aside, and sat on the curb next to her, feeling that she was about to die of exhaustion. Chen Wan stopped and sat next to Yu without any image. She stretched out her hand and rubbed her feet. So, is it so tiring to ride a bicycle on this road? I can't stand it after riding for a while, what about Lin Yi? Chen Wan bit her red lips with her pearly teeth, feeling even more guilty towards Lin Yi. At the beginning, Lin Yi brought breakfast to her every day, but she never cherished it. She ate a bite when she was in a good mood, and when she was in a bad mood, she threw the breakfast bought by Lin Yi into the trash can as soon as Lin Yi turned around and left. Now she knew how wrong she was. After resting for a few minutes, Chen Wan and Yu continued on the road. Finally, after more than half an hour, they arrived at the breakfast restaurant panting. When the owner of the breakfast restaurant saw Chen Wan and Yu, he was still a little surprised. Xiao Wan, why are you here to buy breakfast today? Isn't it always Lin Yi who comes? Chen Wan lowered her eyes slightly. Uncle Wang, Lin Yi used to buy breakfast for me, and I will buy breakfast for Lin Yi in the future. Hearing Chen Wan's words, the restaurant owner raised his eyebrows slightly, and then took 3 servings of the breakfast that Lin Yi usually bought for the two. Yu opened his own portion and started eating, while Chen Wan carefully put the breakfast into her school bag. Her school bag was made of the most advanced materials, which was not only waterproof but also very heat insulating. The breakfast should not get cold if it is placed inside. Chapter 23, Furious Sheep Jumping. After buying breakfast, the two continued to ride their bicycles towards the school. At 7:40 in the morning, they finally arrived at the school gate. After returning the bicycles, they panted and headed towards the teaching building. Finally, the two arrived at the door of the classroom where they were going to have classes today, and Chen Wan walked into the classroom. There were already many people in the classroom, but Lin Yi, Rong Hong and others had not come yet. It was just that Lin Yi's roommate came to reserve a seat for a dormitory. Chen Wan opened her school bag and solemnly placed the breakfast she had bought on the table opposite Lin Yi, and then sat next to Yu in the eyes of everyone in the classroom who looked like they had seen a ghost. Time passed quickly, and more people came to the classroom. Lin Yi and Rong Hong also came to the classroom by the side. When they entered the door, they were still holding a bag of breakfast, 2 buns, an egg, and a cup of soy milk. When Lin Yi walked in, Chen Wan's eyes instantly fell on him, but when she saw the breakfast in Lin Yi's hand, her face turned slightly pale. Lin Yi and Rong Hong and others walked to the position occupied by their dormitory. When they saw the breakfast on the table, Lin Yi was stunned and said, "What is this?" Lin Yi's roommate whispered as if he had seen a ghost, "Lin Yi, this is what Chen Wan bought for you. I wonder what you have done these days to make Chen Wan buy things for you." Other people were also shocked when they heard this person's words. Lin Yi frowned slightly. He picked up the breakfast on the table casually, then walked to the trash can, put the breakfast next to the trash can, and said loudly casually, "My girlfriend has bought me breakfast, so I'll put it here and wait for class to feed the stray dogs in the school." Everyone who heard Lin Yi's conversation couldn't help but be stunned, with disbelief on their faces. They couldn't believe that Chen Wan, such a delicate and beautiful girl, took the initiative to show her kindness to Lin Yi and bought breakfast for Lin Yi for the first time, but Lin Yi didn't appreciate it and threw away the breakfast bought by Chen Wan. And the most important thing is, isn't Lin Yi Chen Wan's most loyal lick dog? What happened these days? First, he didn't bring breakfast for Chen Wan for nearly 3 years. After Chen Wan fainted, Lin Yi actually refused to carry Chen Wan to the hospital. Now Chen Wan took the initiative to bring breakfast to Lin Yi, but Lin Yi didn't show any mercy to Chen Wan and threw it away to feed the dog. Lin Yi, you are too much, right? Chen Wan worked hard to buy you breakfast, you don't say thank you, but why did you throw it away? Yes, Lin Yi, let alone you are sorry for Chen Wan's kindness, your habit of wasting food is not good. Do you know that every meal is hard earned? How can a college student have such low quality? Puff, a person who is in the last few grades, how high can you expect his quality to be? Several boys who have always liked him saw this scene and immediately jumped out to stand on the moral high ground to accuse Lin Yi. Others were moved by emotions and also had complaints about Lin Yi, and they all started to accuse Lin Yi. Lin Yi heard the accusations of everyone, but he didn't get angry but laughed. Didn't I say that I begged Chen Wan to buy me breakfast? Why should I say thank you? I bought her breakfast for 3 years, including junior high school and high school, almost 10 years, right? Has she ever said thank you to me? You said I wasted food, but didn't I say I would feed it to stray dogs after class? How could I waste it? Every meal should be appreciated as it is not easy to come by. How can you have the nerve to say this? Every day, the swill truck takes away several large buckets of leftovers from the canteen. You didn't pour it out, did you? Since you poured it out, you are still saying Nima. You lick your face to accuse your father. Do you think you are the Leshan giant Buddha? You are a bunch of idiots plus Fei Anyan combined equals useless things. If you want to chase Chen Wan, go after her, don't bother me. Lin Yi scolded several Fei Anyan directly, and scolded them until their faces turned red. Several people accused Lin Yi without any reason, and they were ashamed of him. They lowered their heads directly. Lin Yi, what else can you do besides cursing? Aren't you the last few rubbish? Someone couldn't help but refute. That's because I didn't study seriously before, you know. I was in the last few in the grade, that's because I played, I wasn't interested, so I was in the last few in the grade. And you? You studied hard but you're still in the middle, that's because your talent can only support you to the middle, to put it simply, you're just a little bit diligent. Lin Yi, who can't talk nonsense. If you have the ability, let the results speak for themselves. The man's face flushed red, looking at Lin Yi angrily. What are you afraid of? Lin Yi sneered. Okay, then everyone here can testify. Whoever has a low score will post his message on the confession wall to apologize to the other party and say that he is a clown. Okay. Lin Yi nodded without hesitation, and Young Wing wanted to pull Lin Yi's opponent to stop Lin Yi but it was too late. After this episode, Lin Yi turned his head and glanced at Chen Wan, with a sneer on his face, and then turned his head and sat in his seat. Chen Wan stared at this scene blankly. She didn't know why it was like this. She really just wanted to bring breakfast to Lin Yi. It was okay even if Lin Yi didn't eat her breakfast. But why did so many people blame Lin Yi? Even forced Lin Yi to this point. Looking at Lin Yi's cold expression just now, her tears almost fell again. She knew that Lin Yi must hate him even more. After all, she knew Lin Yi's foundation. Although the classmates' grades just now were not particularly good, he had always been in the middle of the grade, while Lin Yi was now in the bottom 10 of the grade. In just over a month, how could Lin Yi catch up? Lin Yi must lose. At that time, Lin Yi would definitely lose face in front of the whole school. Chen Wan was at a loss. Lin Yi didn't take all this to heart at all. He put his mind on the system. System, please give me some rewards that will allow me to win. Lin Yi kowtowed to the system in his heart, and then whispered in his heart. System, sign in. Ding, their host signed in successfully. Congratulations to their host for obtaining a gift pack of music history, musicology theory and other music theory knowledge 1. As soon as the system's words fell, Lin Yi was instantly ecstatic. The next moment, he felt his head swell, and then a lot of knowledge poured into his mind. Theoretical knowledge in music history, musicology theory, Chinese and foreign folk music, aesthetics, composition technology theory, etc. are all complete. Hiss. Lin Yi took a breath of cold air. Wow, this knowledge is too rich, right? He now has almost all the knowledge about music theory. From basic to advanced, from simple to difficult, it's all there. Chapter 24, Act on One's Own. After signing in today and getting a big gift package about music theory, Lin Yi put down the book and found that the knowledge points on it were clear at a glance, and the content in Lin Yi's mind was more comprehensive and richer. With no worries, Lin Yi just gave up and lay on the table and started to sleep. After all, 3 years of college are about to pass, and he has missed so many opportunities to sleep in class, he must make up for it. At this time, Chen Wan, who was sitting in the back, had been paying attention to Lin Yi. She was still worried about the bet between Lin Yi and his classmates. But in a blink of an eye, she saw Lin Yi sleeping on the table. Chen Wan immediately felt a sense of regret in her heart. Lin Yi, you can't just give up on yourself even if you don't have any chance of winning. Chen Wan gritted her teeth, thinking that Lin Yi had no chance of winning, so she gave up on herself. Thinking of this, Chen Wan took out her mobile phone and sent a vibration to Lin Yi. Buzz. Lin Yi felt a slight vibration on his mobile phone. He took out his mobile phone, opened the chuchu, and found that it was a vibration sent by Chen Wan. He frowned slightly. Just then, Chen Wan sent another message. Lin Yi, don't give up on yourself even if you face failure. I am still by your side. Lin Yi was stunned when he saw the message from Chen Wan. A proud lady like a white swan, you can care about others. But in what capacity do you care about me now? Also, in your heart, have I failed? I'm sorry. I don't need this sudden care. Lin Yi turned off the vibration and threw the phone into her school bag. Chen Wan held the phone and waited for Lin Yi's reply with expectation. When she sent a message to Lin Yi before, Lin Yi always replied in seconds. However, she did not wait for Lin Yi's reply. Instead, she saw Lin Yi throw the phone into his school bag and lie on the table and fall asleep. Lin Yi, how can you do this? I said I care about you. Chen Wan bit her lips tightly, feeling extremely uncomfortable in her heart. With tears in her eyes, she flipped up the previous chat records, and she was soon stunned. Because in the previous chat records, Lin Yi always sent her a lot of messages, and she only replied occasionally. There were even some days when he didn't reply. She was stunned. So, did I treat him like Lin Yi treated me today? Chen Wan looked up at Lin Yi's back, and felt that Lin Yi's back was full of desolation and loneliness. Lin Yi, I was sorry for you before, but now I know I was wrong. I will definitely change, and I will definitely let you see my changes. Time passed quickly, and the first class ended. Lin Yi, Young Wing and others stood up, carrying their school bags and heading to the next classroom. Lin Yi took the breakfast next to the trash can. If he said he would feed the dog, he would feed the dog. Although he didn't eat it, he couldn't waste the food. After all, wasting food was a disrespect to his belief in that person. In the second class, Chen Wan had been thinking about how to help Lin Yi win the bet on the exam. She thought for a long time and only came up with two ways. The first method is to let the classmate cancel the bet on his own initiative, and the second is to help Lin Yi improve his grades in just over a month. But in 3 years, Chen Wan knew that it would be difficult to improve Lin Yi's grades in more than a month, so there was only the first method, which was to let the classmate cancel the bet on his own initiative. Thinking of this, Chen Wan made up her mind to find the classmate after class and ask him to cancel the bet. Chen Wan looked at Lin Yi's back. Lin Yi, this is the first time I bow my head to ask someone for help. For you, I am willing to do anything. Soon, it was time to end the get out of class. After class, Young Wing, Lin Yi and others left the teaching building with their school bags. When passing by the grove on campus, Lin Yi and others found a stray dog hut, and then fed the dog the breakfast bought by Chen Wan. After feeding the dog, Lin Yi, Young Wing and others walked towards the cafeteria. Beep 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 tilde tilde tilde. Just at this moment, Lin Yi's cell phone rang. Lin Yi took out his cell phone, and it was Yang Yu who called him via video. Lin dog, I saved a seat for you in the first cafeteria, come quickly. Lin Yi looked at the message sent by Yang Yu, and then glanced at Young Wing and others next to him, with a bit of embarrassment on his face. Yang Yu saved a seat for him, and it would be bad if he didn't go. But abandoning his brother to find Yang Yu would also be a bit bad. Okay, it's your sister-in-law who sent you a message, go quickly, why are you hanging out with us widows when you have a girlfriend? Yang Hong kicked Lin Yi out directly, and Lin Yi ran towards the first canteen with a smile. On the other side, after class, Chen Wan took by OU to wait outside the classroom. Seeing the backs of Lin Yi and Rong Hong leaving, she gritted her teeth and resisted following them. Soon, the boy who made a bet with Lin Yi came out. Student Long. Hello, please wait a moment. Chen Wan walked up with by OU. When Long Huolin heard someone calling him, he subconsciously stopped. When he turned around and saw that it was Chen Wan and by OU calling him, he was stunned for a moment, his face flushed instantly, and his heartbeat accelerated. He didn't expect that a loser like him would be actively approached by a goddess one day. You know, he was just a loser who masturbated by looking at Chen Wan's photos a few days ago. Could it be that my peach blossom luck is coming? Long Huolin was extremely excited and stammered, "Hello, classmate Chen Wan, what do you want to talk to me about?" While speaking, Long Huolin couldn't help but look at Chen Wan's face and chest. The shock of the person on the phone screen appearing in front of him almost made him want to have sex. He quietly took out his phone and pressed the recording button. He must record this opportunity to talk to the goddess. It would be more exciting to listen to Chen Wan's voice when he had sex. Chen Wan frowned slightly. Long Huolin's eyes made her very uncomfortable, but for Lin Yi, she couldn't turn her face. Chen Wan forced a smile. "Student Long, we have something to ask you." "Please me." Long Huolin's head buzzed instantly, and he was confused. Chen Wan's words filled his mind. Could it be that Chen Wan fell in love with me? Even Lin Yi had licked a woman for 3 years but couldn't lick her. I really want to taste what she tastes like. Classmate Chen, we are all classmates. If you have anything to ask, just tell me. As long as I can do it, I will do my best. No need to ask for help. Long Huolin patted his chest. You can definitely do this. Chen Wan smiled when she heard Long Huolin's words. Just can you take the initiative to cancel the bet with Lin Yi? In today's class, Lin Yi didn't mean to scold you. He was just in a bad mood. Chen Wan looked at Long Huolin with an expectant look on her face. Chapter 25, Yang Yu's Fierceness. When he heard Chen Wan's words, it was like a bucket of cold water poured on Long Huolin's head. He reacted instantly. Chen Wan would never look down on a loser like him. Chen Wan was so kind and smiling to him just because she wanted to cancel the bet on her own initiative and not embarrass Lin Yi. When he thought that the goddess he had been pursuing for so long actually took the initiative to speak to him for the first time in such a servile manner for Lin Yi, Long Huolin was extremely jealous. Suddenly, he remembered that he was recording now. He turned his eyes and smiled. "Classmate Chen Wan, it's actually very simple to ask me to cancel the bet on my own initiative. That is to let Lin Yi admit to me that he is not as good as me, and then apologize to me." Impossible. Chen Wan shook her head subconsciously. Although Lin Yi was a dog, he was also a person with a strong self-esteem except when facing himself. Lin Yi had just made a bet with Long Huolin in front of so many people. Wouldn't it be a slap in his face to apologize to Long Huolin now? Then there's nothing to say. Long Huolin's face instantly turned cold. Originally, I was going to give Lin Yi a chance for Chen Wan's sake. After all, this kind of private unilateral apology is better than embarrassing everyone on the confession wall, right? But Chen Wan doesn't seem to be willing. No, that's not right. Long Huolin, can you propose a new condition? As long as I can do it, I will try my best to agree to it. Chen Wan bit her lips, looking pitiful. Long Huolin met Chen Wan's eyes and instantly felt his bones soften. He really wanted to ask for the black silk or panties that Chen Wan had worn at this time, but he knew that this kind of thing would definitely touch Chen Wan's bottom line, and Chen Wan would never agree. So he thought about it, and then said, "How about this, classmate Chen Wan, I will give Lin Yi another chance for your sake. You take the initiative to bow to me on his behalf, admit that he is not as good as me, and then say sorry to me on his behalf, and I will forgive him." Hearing Long Huolin's words, Chen Wan frowned slightly, and finally gritted her teeth and nodded, "Okay. Classmate Long Huolin, I know that Lin Yi is not as good as you, and I can't compare to you. I apologize to you on his behalf. I'm sorry, classmate Long Huolin. Please forgive him once for being a big man and not holding a small mind. Okay, that's it, I will find time to cancel the bet with Lin Yi." Long Huolin took a deep breath, then turned and left. The better Chen Wan treated Lin Yi, the more jealous he was of Lin Yi. He held the phone tightly in his hand, his face full of coldness. "Lin Yi, I will give you a surprise." Chen Wan looked at the back of Long Huolin leaving, and she finally smiled. She also paid for Lin Yi. "Lin Yi, you don't have to thank me tilde 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 tilde." After doing this, Chen Wan felt much better. "By OU, let's go eat tilde tilde." Chen Wan pulled by OU out of the teaching building and walked towards the cafeteria. When the two just walked to the cafeteria, Lin Yi and Yang Yu just walked out. Lin Yi. Chen Wan walked up with a smile on her face. Lin Yi looked at Chen Wan and frowned slightly. What's the matter? Wait a minute, by OU and I are going to take a walk in the playground. If you want to come, you can come Tilda. Chen Wan looked at Lin Yi and made an invitation. When Bai OU heard Chen Wan's words, he couldn't help but hold his forehead. My eldest lady, is there anyone who invites people with such a high-handed attitude like you? Can you put down your arrogant princess shelf? Lin Yi also frowned. Sorry, I need to accompany my girlfriend. If you have nothing else to do, I will leave first. Lin Yi turned around and pulled Yang Yu away. When Yang Yu heard Lin Yi say that she was his girlfriend, she immediately squinted her eyes happily like a kitten. Watching Lin Yi turn around and leave without hesitation, Chen Wan was stunned, and then her eyes were full of grief. Why? Why? Why don't you want to give me a chance? I have done so much for you. I am willing to beg for you in the face of others' vulgar eyes. Your view of me only stays in the past. Why can't you see my changes? Chen Wan felt very wronged. She had obviously tried very hard, but Lin Yi seemed to be blind. Of course Lin Yi couldn't see it. He had given unreservedly for 3 years, but Chen Wan couldn't see it. And now what about Chen Wan? She bought breakfast once, and then took the initiative to admit that he was not as good as Long Hualin in his name, and apologized to Long Hualin. Is this what she called hard work? Bai OU glanced at Chen Wan and sighed heavily in his heart. He really didn't know how to comfort Chen Wan. Lin Yi and Yang Yu walked on the campus. Neither of them spoke. They just walked quietly. Until they reached the downstairs of Yang Yu's dormitory. Then I'll go up. Well, go up. It's not long since we had dinner. Sit for a while before taking a nap. Otherwise, you'll have indigestion. Lin Yi smiled at Yang Yu, and Yang Yu nodded obediently. You too. After that, Yang Yu came into the dormitory and went upstairs. Lin Yi stood downstairs, silently looking at Yang Yu's back. He didn't know if he liked Yang Yu, but he knew that it was comfortable and relaxing to be with Yang Yu. If he had to choose one person to like between Chen Wan and Yang Yu, he would definitely choose Yang Yu. Of course. He didn't make this choice because of Yang Yu's big bear, but based on objective judgment. Go back. Yang Yu walked to the second floor and waved to Lin Yi downstairs. Lin Yi nodded and turned to leave the girls' dormitory. Oh, isn't that Yang Yu? A professional garbage collector at the Conservatory of Music. She is so shameless. She was kept by someone right after entering college. She even treated Chen Wan's garbage as a treasure. TSK, a slut should be matched with garbage. Just lock her up and don't let her come out to harm others. Several girls whispered, looking at Yang Yu with contempt in their eyes. Yang Yu frowned slightly. She turned to look at the girl who said bad things about her, and said in an extremely cold tone, who was barking just now. Come out. Hearing Yang Yu's words, the faces of several girls changed slightly, and they just pretended not to hear. If you are person, come out. If you are dog, bark twice. Or are you just a few uneducated beasts who dare to only grin behind your back? Seeing that no one admitted it, Yang Yu continued to speak. Yang Yu, who are you calling a beast? A girl with a sweet look couldn't help but speak. Yang Yu raised her eyebrows and walked over directly. What are you doing? Several girls looked at Yang Yu walking over aggressively. Although they were outnumbered, they were still frightened. Yang Yu didn't say anything, but walked directly to the girl who had just spoken, raised her hand and slapped her twice. Par par.